Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody. Welcome to the True Sky crew. Has it started the live stream? I believe so. I don't get a notification when it begins, but okay. Welcome everybody to the True Sky Crew podcast. We teach you to look up for yourself. This is season 2, United Under One Sky, because while it is important to celebrate our differences and not expect a homogenous society in any way, one fact remains the same. We all share one true sky, and we can all look at the observable cosmos because the true sky don't lie. Before we begin today's episode, I have a few announcements to make. First, I want to let everybody know that this is the last episode of season 2. Thank you everyone who has guest starred on season 2, tuned into the lives, everyone who watched the replays, everyone who's followed on Instagram, gotten the calendar, daily planners. I am so thankful that the True Sky community is growing. We truly are anchoring in the organic timeline keeping as a collective. And this ultimately is changing collective reality as we know it. I don't have a specific date for season 3 yet, but I will post about it, at least a month in advance when I'm ready to come back and do season 3. And I'm going to be focusing on some other projects for a while that have been calling to me as a Gemini rising. I always have so much on my plate, and as a manifesting generator, there's always so much to do, and I'm really excited to give my time and energy to some of these other projects that have really been asking for my attention. And I'm also clearing my schedule so that I can be able to work with more clients one-on-one, which is something that I would also like to announce is that I am offering a new special. So for anyone who has wanted to work with me and are interested in something that, if you've worked with me before, or if you're interested in working with me on True Sky stuff, this is a really great opportunity for you to get a good feel into the type of information that I provide. I mean, obviously the YouTube provides a lot of information as well, but this is a True Sky star report. So it delves into the specific stars that are activated by your sun, moon, and the rising star. That is associated with your rising sign, but it's really a rising star. And so this is for anybody who feels like the sign and house information is just too basic for their level of consciousness now, and they want to embody a deeper cosmic understanding of their celestial coding. So in this report, I will discuss the energetics of the specific stars that will be activated by your placements and what it means that your specific placement is there, whether it's your sun, your moon, or your ascension point, and also how to utilize this information. How to apply it, how to use it so that you are at the highest level of your cosmic consciousness and embodiment that you can be. So if you're ready to utilize this type of information, and you've been craving this type of detailed celestial information for yourself, you can book that at sachitheseer.com under astrology services. I will pull that up so that you can see where it is. Let's see. All right, is the internet? Okay. Chrome, there we go. And so if you go to my website, you go to astrology services, sometimes there's a drop-down menu here. If you're on your phone, you can go there and it's under astrology services and my specials and True Sky astrology tools. So pretty much anywhere you go, it's going to be there. So you can get your specific star reports for you. And so if this is interesting to you, please go to my website and book that. I'm only offering this to 10 individuals, and there's still some spots open. So if you want to grab a spot, now is the opportunity. So without further ado, welcome to the last episode, episode number 8 of season 2. We are going to be discussing all of January's transits for the calendar year 2026, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome back a very, very special guest. We have our special guest coming back to us, SANJA. SANJA Rose is a mama, a sacred brand alchemist, cosmic guide, and artist. writing poems, songs, and books. She is the founder of Shati Brand, her conscious commerce and brand co-creation agency. She has 15 years of experience building brands, 8 years of full-time entrepreneurship wisdom. She is passionate about building earth-loving and empowering businesses with today's learners. Learners and leaders. That is you. And Sonia is also the creator of True Star Art, a space where you can learn to read and embody the natural sky through the integration of astronomy, the visible 13 sign astrology, and human design. She loves sharing her wisdom of the cosmos to empower individuals, families, and organizations. Sonia, welcome back.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's so great to have you back. And how have the celestial energies been for you lately?
Oh, my. I remember I was listening to this report back before Scorpio season, and I was like, oh, it's not gonna be that deep. I don't know why. I don't know why I underestimate Scorpio and Ophiuchus, but holy moly, I went to the foundation of my trauma and danced with it, processed it, was very much in the underworld while still very much being on the earth and supporting my child and my family. It was very profound. And Sagittarius season feels very uplifting. So I'm happy
Yeah,
for
I
it.
totally agree. I also went there, just was in the underworld for since probably mid-November.
Yeah.
Was just like down there. And again, exactly what you said, like getting to the root of the trauma, revisiting it, and
Hmm.
just sort of sitting with it, like sitting with the gunk of like, oh my God. And for me, it was a lot about taking so much radical responsibility of like, I cannot project or reflect towards anyone on this. I have to take complete responsibility for my actions of what got me there and how I allow this to play out in my life now and how
Mm.
things are looping and just yeah, it was really, I really felt that Ophiucan healing energy come fully online of like grapple your own snake, bitch. So
Grab your own snake and
yeah,
dance with it.
so I really, yeah, I was in that energy. It's definitely not fun. Um,
No.
but it almost made me feel like my old self again, like back when I identified as a Scorpio. I was just like, oh my
Mm.
God, this feels familiar.
Oh my gosh, yes. And then when it was over, I said, thank gosh.
Yeah, honestly, that's how I feel. After the solstice, it feels
Mhm.
like it literally was like, okay, that was the darkest time. Like
Yes.
the darkest point in this period is now behind. And I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Hmm.
Like goodness. And honestly, I know you joined us for the episode with Morgan in the live chat, and there was a lot of discussion about the stars of Libra, well, part of the stars of Libra being technically the stars of Scorpius. And
Yes.
this year I felt that like
Yeah.
to the greatest degree of any other year, to the point where I'm even wondering if Libra should even be a constellation, as it was
Hmm.
an inorganic object implanted into the zodiac. So I've really
Yep.
been kind of sitting with that and ruminating on that, which would make me a Scorpio again.
Uh-huh. I honestly had a lot of the same feelings and thoughts. I was having I have this experience with true sky astrologers where we'll have the same intel kind of come through. I honestly, it's just the collective consciousness of the cosmos coming through us, but it really was a questioning of does Libra need to be there? And when I think about the archetype of Libra, it is so profound and beautiful, and I don't want to let it go. Um, but I wonder if we could integrate it. I wonder if it could be the claws holding scales.
It could be. Yeah, the claws could be the
The
things that go
claws are
up and
holding the
down.
scales,
It could
right?
be. Uh-huh.
I think that's really funny to think about a little scorpion holding scales. That's like a super funny visual.
It is, and honestly, Scorpio could or Scorpius could use some, cuteness and funniness to
Yeah.
it because
A little
damn, it
charm,
gets dark and damp down there. Yeah.
right? A little charm bracelet,
Ah,
little
uh-huh.
accessory.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Mm. Yeah, that's so interesting. I was having a lot of those same thoughts.
Yeah, and I know Morgan as well was posting that she also, even after the episode, obviously, which happens before the month, like she was really feeling into that Scorpius energy. And I've seen a couple other people post about it as well. So it seems like that is a little wave of information that's been going through the True Sky community, which is awesome.
Hmm.
Are you ready to jump into the transits?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, excellent. So everyone who's watching, Sonia's info is on this slide. And for those who want to work with her, you can go to any of these links and infos and things like that. For those of you who are watching the replay, I'm going to put all of her links that you can reach out to her, her socials, her website in the description box below. So you can go there and work with her. And also, if you want to learn more about her and her journey, you can go ahead to episode 4 of season 2, where we discuss a little bit more about Sonia's journey and connection with astrology and so on. All righty, so let's pull up the Sky app. So we are in Sagittarius season. Like you said, it is a lot lighter than usual or than the recent past, which is really, really nice. We have this tight conjunction of Venus and Mars with the Sun. I'm curious your thoughts on this conjunction, which has been happening for a while, and it's going to continue for, quite a bit of the month.
Mm-hmm. I've been interpreting this as the polarity of masculine and feminine, like cradling the sun, and it being our opportunity to really integrate that within ourselves. So this has looked like a lot of needing to heal the relationship to the masculine, as vast as Father God, as intimate as, partner, husband, brother, and then the feminine as well. It's been a very interesting time, especially with this like really starting back in Scorpio and moving through Ophiuchus. It's just very fascinating to have such a concentration of planets, like really just following the sun. And it's happening for a while. And I don't remember a time before this where this has been the case, where they've all been literally just walking together through the zodiac.
Yeah.
What is your feeling of that?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, which we'll discuss as we get there, but especially as we're reaching around the full moon, I think it's like 7 celestial bodies are like wham, bam, boom right there. So we have like a major giant conjunction happening.
Hmm.
But I also totally agree with you. I think this tight conjunction with Venus, Mars, and the Sun is really bringing a lot of light to the dynamics between the masculine and feminine, which definitely materializes a lot as relationships between men and women. And I also, agree with the father god and the mother goddess archetypes as well, and how humanity's interacting with them and how they're even interacting with each other to be that
Mm.
source energy of all creation. So it's very interesting because it is around the sun. So there's a lot of light coming to the dynamics of the masculine and feminine, or the yin and the yang energy, and how we're embodying these and kind of bringing to light of even some of our own shadows, right? When there's so much light, it's like the shadow, that's when the shadows are cast. Um,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so a lot of people are going to be recognizing, like, okay, this is energy in my own feminine energy that I need to heal, that's going to heal my relationship with women or men or,
Yeah.
myself. And even like, okay, this is some things in my energy of my masculine energy that I need to heal my relationship with men and women. So I think a lot of people are, we just went through that Scorpio Ophiuchus season. So inward was the name of the game, inward and downward. Geez Louise.
Hmm.
And I'm sure on a collective level, a lot of people are feeling that because now it's just going to be like, okay, so what are we going to do about it? Like, how are we going to apply it legit? Because, Sagittarius is the academic, the learner, the studier, the one that's known for all that philosophy and sort of stuff. So it's kind of like, okay, through your learned experiences in your own shadow, now you're applying it. And not just changing your behavior, but changing your mindset, changing your thinking, changing um your philosophies and belief systems. So that way it changes the direction that you're
Mm.
going towards, especially because we have the year of the fire horse coming up in Chinese
Hmm.
astrology. So it's like that's Sag all over it. So we're
Hmm.
gonna have like So much fiery energy, which I am totally, totally ready for. But yeah,
Mm.
this conjunction has been it's been a balancing act for sure. For sure.
Mm. Balancing act is such a perfect way to describe it. And I very much feel that for myself, at least personally, the Scorpio experience of this was, oh, you have to go to the deepest pain within you around the masculine and the feminine, around the father and the mother. And then for myself as a mother with a husband who is the father of my children, it all integrates. And it was very much a personal portal. And now we're here, in the back of the head of Sagittarius, which is a very expansive place to be. It's like, oh, I've thought this through. I have a new perspective and a new philosophy. And it is kind of surprising some of the new ways that we're going to think about ourselves, about our relationships, about our parents. It feels like it's still forming. Um, but it feels like it's very necessary in order to have deeper peace on the planet and within ourselves and just like more coherence and collaboration. Like so much of the suffering that I see relationally is because of this divide, because of like women hating men, men hating women, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of it is manufactured because the divine co-creation happens when men and women unite, when women are embodying that true divine feminine essence, the masculine naturally provides and protects it. And
Hmm.
so when there is that divide, okay, that's when a lot of these false authority systems like governments and
Hmm.
religions and things can step in and hoodwink both of them that, yeah, make them hate each other. And it's really, really sad, especially as a lover girl myself. I'm like, okay, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I
Mm.
think, I don't know if it's just my algorithm, but I'm sure a lot of people have been seeing it, but there's so much of this energy that's being broadcasted, especially on social media, towards men and women, of like men being told like, oh, women are only after your money. Most of them don't even have money, but it's like, oh, women are only there to use you, blah, 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 blah. And then on the women's side, it's like, take everything you can from a man. They're gonna F you over anyway. They're gonna cheat on you. They're gonna take the best years of your life. They're gonna want that coochie anyway. So get what you can, sort of thing. So I definitely see a lot of those distortions like really
Mm.
being big, widespread. And we see the application of both of those where it has left people.
Yeah.
It's just like the ridiculous gender divide.
Absolutely. Really, the gender wars are
Yeah.
present and at play. And it's also inside of us, right? Like what you were saying is that this season has really brought us to our own self-responsibility around how much of the patriarchy have I internalized and am I putting onto myself and putting onto others. And with Sagittarius, it forces us to broaden that perspective and to think, okay, this actually needs to be different, and I'm going to think differently and act differently around it. And I very much think of Sag as the embodiment of heart, chest, and
Mhm.
not in this terms of pride, but in terms of power forward. Like I'm powerfully going to move towards this with a sense of passion. And I do think that there's an actual opportunity for deeper joy and pleasure and experience of relationships, like both inside of us and outside of us when we aim for this. But a lot of the time we're just so stuck in feeling that resentment or that bitterness of our past experiences or even our current realities that we don't actually let ourselves like really truly love the experience that we're having and the partners that we have or the dating experience that we're having, etc.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's such an important part of Sag too, is that part of it is the journey, right? It's not the destination, it's the journey. It's like Sag, doesn't necessarily ever have a destination. It's always wanting to move and travel and continue. And it's also interesting, gender war, I think, is a great way to put it. And it's interesting to note that Sagittarius is the only sign that has a weapon. It,
Mm,
even though a lot of it is trying to get that bullseye and, obtain what it wants to get, there is this aspect of the hunter, there's the aspect of being able to harm and hurt through an
mm,
artificial mechanism, unlike Scorpius, right, which has the
mhm,
claws, Aries has and Taurus, they have their horns and things like that. But this is utilizing an inorganic technology
mm,
to potentially deliver harm.
mm. I think that's so interesting because I also read Taurus as Taurus, Sagittarius as Chiron.
Mm,
And Chiron, the centaur, was unlike the rest of the centaurs and wounded because of a deadly arrow, but he couldn't heal himself, even though he was the master healer, and thus was like the great irony, but also the work of his life. And I think it's very interesting that Sagittarius is Chiron, like the actual embodiment of that centaur. And then, of course, we have the asteroid Chiron. But I think that's very interesting because to me, it bodes as a sense of protection and also as a sense of providership. Because when I think of a bow and arrow, I don't think of harming other people. I think of hunting. Like I think of it as a very natural feminine. It's also a feminine and a masculine tool for hunting because a lot of feminine goddesses were archers.
mhm.
And I think what's really interesting about the bow and arrow that I only realized a couple weeks ago, I talked about it on my YouTube channel, was that the arrow and the eyes of Sagittarius are pointing directly at the galactic center.
Yes, yeah, uh-huh. It's almost like, hey, pay attention right here. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. And yeah, I think what's so interesting about that is it can be so easy to interpret it as, oh, we have to protect ourselves. We have to have weapons in order to be expansive. It's kind of like when people feel, oh, well, now that I'm spiritual, I need all this protection around me, right? They learn about the energies and magic and they're like, oh, I need protection. But actually, what we need is to throw that all into a black hole and let it become,
Or throw whoever's attacking you in a black hole. Fuck them.
throw it into a black hole and see what comes out. Maybe you'll be like Matthew McConaughey and get spit out by Saturn. And I just watched Interstellar again. That was a
Oh,
wild
okay.
thing to
I've never
watch.
seen it. I definitely don't want to get spit out by Saturn. I've been chewed up by Saturn a couple times, so I'll tell you.
I mean, it saved his life. The black hole spit him back
Oh,
out by Saturn. He was reunited. It was beautiful. Anyway, I don't want to
oh.
say too much because I just ruined the whole plot of it, but you can hear my baby at the top of the stairs.
Aw, that's good.
Mm,
Baby noises are awesome.
we love a happy sound.
Yeah, I think it is very interesting that it's pointed at the galactic center and the aspect of the arrow. I also take it as a very feminine archetype. Thank goodness it's not a gun.
Could you
Um,
imagine?
yeah, which is not good for hunting. That definitely is more of a different type of weaponry.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, especially because it takes more skill to utilize as well.
Hmm.
And the arrow I take very much as an air element. So even though Sag
Hmm.
is a fire sign, it feels like you have to really have on point air understanding again in order to hit the target. Which I do agree is very, very much more hunting energy. And which also, kind of goes with, and I know Sag doesn't get a lot of dating energy to it, but bringing in that Sag energy to love and dating is so fun. Like it
Hmm.
literally fun is the word I want to describe. Like you always have a good time. Um, and that
Yeah.
can be kind of like, trying to hit your target of, the type of person that you want. Plus, I mean, we know Sag has a horse undercarriage, so anyone dealing with the Sag, lucky you.
Oh my word.
All right, let's get into it, you guys. Um, So we're starting off the month with this tight conjunction of Mars, Venus, and the Sun, and it is activating Nunki of Sagittarius. So if you recall from the last episode, this star is known to burn very, very hot, but for a short period of time. So part of this is recognizing that certain spurts of energy are needed and necessary at certain times, but that energy is not sustainable long term. So it's only meant for like a short spurt. So with the sun here, it's really good to be avoiding burnout, but recognize that there may be need for energy input, like more energy input more than usual, especially with Venus and Mars around there. So some of this could have to do with balancing your masculine and feminine energy. And Nuki is also known as a directional star. So it's actually known to guide the water element in the direction that the air element is aimed. So it is really, really good at communicating emotions. So with Mars and Venus there, a lot of it can be communicating your own emotions to yourself in order to understand this masculine feminine balance. And then we have around the third, this thing is my Zoom bar moved. Okay. Around the third, the fourth, we have this activation of Xi2 Sag. And so um, with this star, we have a lot of energy regarding that. Um, it like amplifies the sun's energy. So this star is ruled by the sun. So with the sun there, it brings even more and more light to it, which is interesting because we've had such kind of a darker period through that Scorpius and Ophiuchus time, and it felt darker than a lot of other years. And so now it's just like, okay, the sun's hitting energy, spurt of Nunki, and then going to Xi2 Sag, which is ruled by the sun. So it's going to be stimulating even more and more light. So this is a really great time to be utilizing, whatever information is coming to light for you, and then also using your vital force to create, especially with Mars and Venus there. It's a very creative time. Like you have both of the elements, the structure and the intuitive flow in order to create things. So a really great time to create, a great time to shine your brightest. Xi2 Sag is connected to time, calendar systems, and also like how they influence history. So a lot of the shadow side, a lot of timeline manipulations and
Mm.
like historical accounts that are meant to push a certain narrative. Kind of like if you read the US history books that are all like, oh, and then the Native Americans gave them corn. And then they decided to hurt Americans. So we had to kill them. Like, just the whitewashing and the false narratives that are passed down in history. That is some of the energy that can come through Xi2 Sag. But on a collective scale, there can be certain information coming out about that, like timelines of or sequences of events through history that have been purposely manipulated or purposely distorted can be a theme. And then we
Mm.
have um, whoa, 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 whoa. Nope. Yeah, time's
Oh,
going too fast. We don't want that to happen.
just went into a wormhole.
Oh my God. All right. Okay.
I also wanted to mention what's really interesting about this conjunction with Venus and Mars is those are really bright planets, right? If Jupiter
Yeah.
was in there too, it'd be like, whoa, all of these
Mm-hmm.
extremely luminary, bright planets are present. And there is like that brightness and that energy and that Sagittarian fire, which I completely understand why people misinterpret that as like New Year energy,
Mm-hmm.
because there is this new fire and this light and this brightness being brought, especially to the north, to the darkness. But it's interesting how there's this stirring within and this passion and this decision to act and to create from this conjunction, but it's not the same energy as, you know, spring beginning and there being equal light and day on outside to actually play with and be present with. I think it's very interesting in terms of an activation um, for the start of winter, especially up here in the north.
hmm Yeah, I'm not too far away as well. So it's interesting that there's a lot of, this, yeah, bright and heat energy. I don't know about you, but we just had 60-degree day yesterday. It was insane, or 2 days ago. We were having 50 to 60-degree days, which no complaints here, but um,
Oh yeah, we haven't had any snow. It's great.
yeah, we got snow now. Like we're having some global weirding over here. Then we
Mm,
have the sun is going to be activating Omicron Sagittarius, and this is going to be around the 5th and 6th. So this star is known to be very eruptive, aggressive, explosive, high energy. It's controlled by Mars. So with the sun there, it's a great time to really kind of pay attention to your triggers and understand have good outlets for your aggression and your anger. The star is known to have like some control, like issues with control, but also they're very good at controlling things. Sometimes in life you have to be controlling. If you're in a situation where control and discipline are absolutely necessary, then that's great. Um, but they're also really good at asserting one's will, if you have this in your chart. So with the sun
mm,
there, it's a pretty intense time. Again, have some healthy outlets for aggression. Assert your will if need be. Do not let forces assert their will onto you. Um, so that should be pretty interesting. Mars kind of far away from it, but still with the sun conjuncting Mars, we can expect that to be a very high energy day. So just kind of uh keep your energy as balanced as possible. And again, have some healthy outlets like, punching a pillow or screaming or, drawing art, transmute it to something that's productive. And then we have the sun activating Albalda and on January 6th and even like going into January 7th. And so um, this star is associated with traveling for various spiritual purposes or grid working for spiritual purposes. So pay attention to what comes to light around that time. There could be a specific place that's calling to you. Um, so you may either be traveling around that time, and whether you know it or not, it's going to be some sort of spiritual grid working thing that you're going through, but also a place could reveal itself to you that you need to go visit. So pay attention to any grid that is calling your name at that time. It's also known as a star that it allows you to shine brightly in a new location. So if anyone's moving around this time, you're going to be directed to a grid where you get to shine your brightest. So I would say this star, like the energetics of it is very similar to like a sun line in astrocartography. With
mm.
my limited knowledge of astrocartography, like that is Albalda.
Mm. I was gonna say that's giving look into astrocartography because I did a lot of investigation to see if it needs to change or be updated based on the true sky, and it doesn't,
That's what
which
I've
is
heard.
great. So all astrocartography maps are accurate, and it's important to read them in relationship to your own chart. So, yes, it's a sun, but if your sun is in Scorpio, that's a very different energy than if your sun is
That's
in
true.
Leo or
That's
in
true.
Aries, for example. So, read it with that sort of context to it. But that's really powerful. I mean, I have a Sag moon. I'm like, let me
Yeah.
travel the world.
Yeah, it's Sag Venus. So like I'm all about that life.
Ooh, you're gonna have a Venus return. How exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, I'm thinking about my last Venus return. That was exciting. Anyway,
Mm,
um, so yeah, we have the sun. It's going to be continuing to move with Venus and Mars as it's leaving Sag, moving into the Sagittarius Capricornus void. It's going to be moving there for quite some time. Mercury joins the party for that conjunction. Also Pluto and the
Ooh,
moon, which we'll
ooh,
talk
look at
about when we
that.
get to the moon there. But I'm curious what your thoughts are on like this. I thought it was 7 for some reason, but this six celestial body conjunction right between Sag and Cap. This is a really interesting big conjunction. I'm curious about your thoughts.
This is a party. I always think of this is a very kinky space in
Yeah.
space because it's like the ass end of Sag, the head of Capricorn. Capricorn,
Ass to
I find to
mouth.
be
Yeah.
right, the mouth, like it's smelling the butt of Sag. Like I think it's so
Yeah.
interesting. I also think of Capricorn as kind of a bit pervy. Like
Yeah.
there's just an element, there's an energy to it where they're very poetic and kind of dark, and they can be with that. And so this to me literally feels like a rave. Like we're at a rave, we're transforming though. Like the substances being taken are alchemical. They're not just, you're not just taking ecstasy, you're taking something to deeply transform yourself. And I think this is so interesting. I mean, I just really wonder what this is going to look like on the collective stage with this much energy around Pluto. Because last year we had the sun here with Pluto, which is still a very
Yeah.
powerful conjunction to have the sun right next to Pluto for the start of Capricorn season. But to have it, all of them here together, and especially a new cycle beginning, it it really is giving me the energy of I always say this and it feels so cliche, but it's like, oh, nothing was the same. It's like there's time before this and time after this conjunction in time because this particular alignment of planets will never happen again, in this particular way. Like we're living through it now live.
Yeah. Or at least for
Yeah, I mean, again,
26,000 years on
yeah,
average,
yeah,
maybe like something
26,000
like
years,
that. Yeah. Like
It won't happen again in our lifetime at the very
definitely
least, is
not.
what I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
And then we've
Yeah.
got, Aquila above it. And
Yes.
I'm obsessed with reading above and below the ecliptic. And
Hmm.
to me, like this is the alignment of the eagle, like the
Yeah.
alignment of the great eagle. And it's really calling us to look at a higher level, to look beyond our current limitations, our current expectations, our current demands, our current desires, and to actually be transformed by the path ahead of us, right? Sagittarius is like, you're on a journey, you're on an adventure. And Capricorn is like, and you're going to build something along the way. And this is kind of aligning. So I feel like there's going to be new mission assignments, new visions assigned, which is a lot of why I've been sitting with personally as someone that helps people define their brands and their sacred visions a lot. That's majority of my work is I've been really sitting with like, I don't know yet what I'm meant to fully create and be dedicated to. So I'm just mostly maintaining and also very excitedly creating something new, which is fun. But it's very interesting to just allow in a new level of insight and a new level of perception to be brought forth and then embodied, because then it will become embodied in the Capricorn time.
Definitely. Yeah, I love that perspective, especially because Sag is all about, kind of elevated levels of consciousness when it comes to expanding your mind and expanding your horizon and seeing things from a new perspective and changing your perception, which sometimes you literally have to move to change your perception. Like I just love
Yeah.
the blatant like change your mind, change your life aspect of Sag. And through Aquila, it really, really helps that because again, all of the medicine through Eagle Spirit comes through here, which we also have our alignments with Cygnus and Aquila come through here, which is very interesting. So there's a lot of, bird spirit energy. And, I definitely need to mention that during this time, we're going to be having alignments with Altair. Altair is the United States true Pluto return star. So this great conjunction is going to be activating Altair, which is
Mm.
the shadow side of it. Well, I won't say shadow anymore. The energies through Altair have been getting shut down that control the surveillance state program. So a lot of these surveillance programs that have been trying to get installed on Earth are getting shut down. That's why they're putting up a fight. But there's so
Mm.
much transformation that's going to be happening here. And then all the energy that runs through Cygnus. Cygnus is where the alien machinery was installed that allowed only like evil people to have money and things like that, where you do like blood sacrifices and torture and all these sorts of things, selling your soul for money, basically, ran through the energetics of Cygnus. But Cygnus was reclaimed um, at least 2 decades ago, I want to say now. That's why we see, so many millionaires now, right? You don't have to be evil to have money. Money is not evil. It's not tied to morality whatsoever. And that's because the organic energetics of Cygnus have been reclaimed. So both of
Mhm.
these energies happening is like right where this conjunction is, and it's huge. It's huge. And of course, like we also have the Fox energy coming through at this point as
Mm.
well, which Fox energy can be tricky, right? It's like Fox I always take as kind of like the fool card or even like low key energy. It's
Mhm.
like the little trickster that you meet that teaches you some sort of like divine lesson through
Mhm.
deception almost. So it's a really interesting, potent area in the sky for having all of this energy, especially right after we just had another United States Pluto return. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, when the US seized that oil tanker from Venezuela, that was on the day of Pluto
Mm.
actual 100% like exact in alignment with Altair. So that was a big one for me. I was like, okay, there it is. Stealing, which is interesting because the eagle, um, which we've talked about on the special topic episode of United States Pluto return, eagles are known for not being very good hunters. They actually steal the prey of other animals. That's how they get a lot of their
Mhm.
food. So there is this
Yes.
aspect of like stealing from others, and literally that's
Yes.
what the US did. So,
Whoa, I'm getting full body chills because the last time I saw an eagle, it was trying to steal from a seagull, and then the seagull fought back. And normally you would think of a seagull as a far smaller bird, as not as aggressive as an eagle, that it would actually cower at the presence of an eagle, but it fully fought back and caused such an, and it was right in front of me, like literally 2 meters in front of me in the ocean. And I was just watching them. And then the eagle finally flew away up into the trees. And I was really sitting with that for a while. And the message was, just because someone appears to be very powerful and in a position of power does not mean that they're always righteous or doing things with integrity or doing things well. And often if they're fought back, right, if boundaries are put in place and, society, let's society is a seagull because there's just a lot of them. They're very populated. And society says, no, we're not going to take that anymore. Then the eagle goes back and kind of goes to an elevated space to kind of shield its ego essentially, but also to kind of try to elevate again and see what else it can do next. And I thought that was so fascinating because I never actually had a relationship with an eagle that felt shadowy. I always considered eagles to be like the pinnacle of
mhm,
vision and leadership and mastery. And I think, especially because the US is so connected to eagle symbolism, it's its core emblem and bird.
mhm.
I think it's very interesting that that is the messaging that we've been feeling for a while. And also, foxes are very cunning. They're very
Yeah.
smart. They're the ones that can
Uh-huh.
outsmart those that are
Yes.
being deceptive, right?
It's true. Yeah. The eagle ain't gonna steal nothing from the fox, that's for
No.
sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. The medicine of eagle is not always what it appears to be. I feel like the eagle just has had a great marketing team through the US
Yeah.
for so many years, but a lot of people are seeing through it. And thank you for sharing the anecdote. It actually reminds me of a similar type of experience that I had with eagles. This is right before I left my matrix job to become an entrepreneur full time, managing material science R&D lab. I was in the room where the techs were, like their office space, and we see an eagle trying to steal this fish from another bird. I think it was a hawk, but I don't remember. And they're coming like literally right towards the windows of where we're standing. And the other bird lets go of the fish, and the eagle has it like 2 seconds right before it slams into the window, and the eagle died. And we were
Whoa.
just like, what the F? Like, that was insane to witness. And like, we went outside, and sure enough, like, he was gone. And that was a very transformative time. obviously
Mm,
period of my life, I thought it was a Scorpio at the time. So eagle was one of the spirit animals that I worked with. And that's when I knew like, okay, I'm on Phoenix level now. Like I
yeah.
don't identify with the eagle anymore. Like eagle's
Hmm.
dead and now I'm rebirthing as a phoenix. And that's exactly what I did through my business.
And
So
where
it was
is the
pretty
phoenix in
wild.
the sky? Just because we're talking about the great birds,
Yeah. Oops.
where is the phoenix again? Is it below Aquarius? I think so.
So it is, yeah, below sculptor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Anka, which is the main star through here, yeah, comes through Aquarius.
That's so interesting because so many people in like the Western timeline believe that Pluto is in Aquarius and that all of this will be occurring in Aquarius, but
Hmm.
it's actually not. It's like this groundedness that's actually occurring.
Hmm.
I think this is really exciting for shifts in collective power and also personal
Yeah.
power. Like the
Yeah.
theme is definitely power, but it's like the journey of power and an inner authority and needing to be more visionary, but also more cunning with the way that you actually envision your life. And all I know is for myself personally, the core message that I've been drawn to share is that look around, leadership is changing.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. And
Yeah.
sometimes not all for the better, but it's like, um, we're getting to a point where people are going to start seeing at leaders not as people above them. It's just people who are ahead of them and when where they want to go. And that's very much kind of a Sag thing of
Hmm.
like, okay, who's on the path that I want to follow to an extent, or at least like the blueprint that I want. And
Yeah.
if there's not a path, then you have to be that leader and trailblaze. Like that's the only, those are the two options. Find someone who's done it and follow a method that actually works, that you know works. This is a very Capricornist approach. They're very much like, yeah, I do this because I know it works. Follow the
Hmm.
directions. Um, Whereas like Sag is very much like, okay, I'm gonna go on this journey and who knows where I'll end up. But again, the Sag Cap energy is what do you want to accomplish and how do you get there?
Hmm.
And I think a lot of people are going to start realizing that because it's like everyone you put on a pedestal or, government, religion, guru, whatever, like they're always going to disappoint you. They're also human. You
Yes.
should never see them as above you. Ahead, like, yeah, they should be.
Hmm. Yes.
But yeah, I totally agree. Leadership is completely changing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that ship is sailing away.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, So yeah, we have this giant conjunction, and then we have the start of Capricornus season as Sag, as the sun is going to be activating Okul here. And Okul is I kind of want to call it a comparison star. And thank you, Morgan, in the chat. Thank you. And Sonia, thank you in the chat. Yeah, I've been told that by many people, and I'm really excited to write mini books for my clients on their sun moon rising and kind of experiment how I like feeling into that. But yeah, cool. I want to say it kind of is a comparison star because it's the energetics of it is the standardization of things like schools, colleges, academics, and things like that. So it rules over things like curriculums and like government mandated things that you have to learn in any sort of institution that is standardized in some sort of way. Even like SATs, things like that come through here. And it's also connected to businesses and shops and establishments that are created to make money, which is obviously how it's tied into the, academics of colleges and stuff right now, which are, money-making businesses. As time has
Hmm.
progressed, even though Sag is associated with academics, the energies of academics come through Capricornus for me and not Sag
Mm.
anymore. Like I
Mm.
have
Yeah.
spent plenty of time in academia. I've been around a lot of academics, and it is not a house of learning. There is no open-mindedness whatsoever. It is institutionalization. It is regurgitated information, memorized on time, by this due date
Yes.
facts, and like that's pretty much it. And it's so Capricornus energy.
Yeah.
Um,
Control, power. Yeah.
exactly.
It
Yeah.
also in the human design system, and I know we'll talk about this at some point soon, but I read human design with the true sky very differently. And gate 13, which is kind of the secret library, it is the Vatican inside of the G Center,
Ooh.
the Vatican catacombs inside of the G Center, inside
Oh
of the
my
human
goodness.
design system. It is a Capricorn gate.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so the deepest structure, it's like the structure of schooling and institutions is what is very Capricornian. But I feel like the future of education and also how many of us learn. I mean, we're here on YouTube learning about the cosmos, learning about the transits is very Sagittarian. It's very like everyone can teach everywhere. You can learn from your pocket. You can learn from the flower outside. You can learn through the journey of life. Like life is the greatest teacher, but also like anyone can teach anything and it can be fun as well. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. It's true. I really look forward to, I mean, yes, the fun part aspect is so important. And I think, when you have more fun, it's easier to learn. And I really look forward to the energetics of academia going back through Sag.
Mhm.
Um, because in Capricornus, again, we look at all these just like institutionalized zombies who can't have a thought for themselves. You're not taught how to think, you're taught how to memorize and regurgitate. Um, and kind of
Mm.
similar to what I was talking about with um, the energy of success and being able to follow things, Okul actually has this ability as well, because they are known to be able to do things by the book, follow directions to a T. Um,
Mhm.
this can come this can be very handy for people who have passions or occupations or things that you have to follow everything to a standard, things like chemistry and nuclear physics and things like that. And the star is known, a lot of the stars of Capricornus have this energy, but they can carry a lot. Like there is a lot of heavy burden energy that runs through
Mm.
Capricornus, unfortunately. But someone's got to do it, and Capricornus knows that they can. Not that your life, just because you can handle hardship, means that you should. But it is one of the shadows that runs through Capricornus at this time of being able to take on a lot of weight. And so oftentimes that just materializes that way. And another shadow side of it is like only being able to do things by the books. So not
Mhm.
being open to other perspective. Um, and like it kind of goes back into that institutional learning aspects of this star. It's like someone who can only believe something is true if it's like written in a textbook or from
Yes.
a peer-reviewed source, even
Mhm.
if it's been exposed like, oh, these peer-reviewed sources are all paid by this corporation. Like they
Yes.
still will only believe this, but not believe that because it's not part of that neat package that was delivered to them. So it's a very
Mhm.
interesting star, but they can really have a lot of tunnel vision.
I
And
think
then,
what's so interesting, sorry to interrupt you, is
no,
that
no, no.
it's aligned perfectly to the microscope beneath.
Yes,
And that
uh-huh.
feels like just an like that just feels like it perfectly summarizes what you were just speaking to. But it's
Yeah.
also my indication to like, let's look a little bit closer. Let's look under the microscope at what is
Hmm.
really happening here and at the structure of things and the structure of things. Let's look under the microscope at how things are actually structured. And we'll find something very different when we choose to look with our own eyes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and a lot of the energy that comes through my scopium can be very scientific and things like that. And the energetics of Okul definitely pull in those alignments from the microscope as well. Absolutely. And I think that's a really good point of like, let's look closer at that. And that can be sometimes the blind spot even
Hmm.
of oh cool is only wanting to go to a certain level. Again, it's kind of like the peer-reviewed studies,
Yes.
right? It's like I forget what it was, but one of my colleagues at my last matrix job was like printed out a peer-reviewed study. Really cool Egyptian guy. And he was like, "Oh, take a look at this." And it was talking about how um like coconut oil was bad for you and um sunflower oil was bad for you or something like that. And he was like, and he like pulled up the bottom and pulled up the different people who peer reviewed it and the company that was like the shell company that funded it, and it was done by the company of canola, and all of
Yeah.
the people who or Crisco or whatever the company is that owns
Yep.
canola oil,
Hmm.
and like all the people who peer reviewed it are in the pockets of da da da. And I was like, yeah, I know that kind of stuff happens. And he was just like, this stuff is so stupid. Da, 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 da. Like gives bad signs a bad name. And I'm like, yeah, but you recognize that that happens in other places, right? It's not just
Yeah.
big
This
canola
one
oil.
time. It's not just big canola.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Mm.
so that can definitely be some energy that comes through there. And then we have it continuing through the end of the month to the 31st, lightly activating theta cap here. Okay, there we go.
Might be. He's just
So
having
we
the
have
time of his life upstairs.
yeah, we have a light activation. It's going to be more towards February. Um, so I mean, I guess I'll talk about it a little bit because we are going to feel it at the end of the month, but that star's pretty wild. Again, we're probably not going to feel like the major of it until the beginning of February, but I'll just say it since there's not going to be a February episode, but Theta Cap has the energy of a total solar eclipse. So the moon
Mm.
totally blocking out the sun. So there's some like Saturn moon matrix energies that run through Theta Cap that stop us from accessing light, typically through like restrictions or manipulations of the emotional body. So it's
Mm.
definitely a darker star of Cap. It also has energetic links to Delta Serpentis in Serpens. So there's a lot of lessons that are learned through the snake spirit emanation of Scorpius and snake medicine through Ophiuchus there. And so in brief, the notion of to shed or ascend in terms of, those reptilian frequencies is big there. Um, which,
Mm.
it's like the reptilian frequency is not being able to produce your own light or heat. You have to obtain it from a different source. We all get energy from the sun, and that's normal and that's okay, right? A lizard isn't evil for needing the sun or a heat lamp. And we're not evil for needing the sun either. But there is this essence of like really needing to get your own light, and even when you're going through this darkness, being able to find that warmth and light in yourself. So as we're heading
Mm.
into February, that is really the energy there. And so total solar eclipse energy is like wild card. Really anything can happen. So this can materialize in a lot of different ways, but that's kind of the base um undercurrent energy that's there. And like natives who have this star in their chart really have to learn to accept their darkness and like
Mm.
embrace the void and be able to like they really have to master their shadow if they're going to actuate their true potential, or they'll just end up being like the depressing emo cap type, the world crushing them type energy.
Mm. Wow. I have so much. It's so fascinating how this conversation has been twirling for a month. I've been collecting experiences so that I can speak about them now, which is, fascinating how it goes. And I always interpret Capricorn as a dragon.
Hmm.
And I really started remembering that from my beautiful co-teacher, Cassidy Lee Bell, who also taught inside of my cosmic arts training with me. And she became a mom and went completely like she's just offline. She's not serving or teaching anything, but she's very much about somatic embodiment of the cosmos. And recently, in the last couple of weeks, it was actually for the solstice, I fully got on board with the conspiracy that there was no dinosaurs, there was dragons, or the dinosaurs were dragons.
Yeah.
And which just makes perfect sense. Like,
Yeah,
of
we know
course,
that. They
dragons
had
existed.
feathers. They
Yeah,
have
they
they
had
flew,
wings.
they had feathers, they had wings. That's why they look exactly like a chicken. I mean,
Yeah.
anatomically it makes sense. Yeah.
It's just such deep truth. Like sometimes when you learn such deep truth and remembrance, it's like everything reorients and it just makes sense.
Mhm.
And to me, like Capricorn, look at this. This looks like a water dragon to me, right? And there's a lot of water dragons, especially in like Chinese folklore specifically. And I think what's interesting is I've been really sitting with, I'm like, well, what's the fire about? Like, what's that about? And I think what's really powerful is, do I think that there was like mystical creatures that could actually breathe fire? I don't know. I'm still a realist. Like, I don't know that that was occurring on this planet. However, them having an internal light that they can emanate and spread, and them having like this power that isn't, even though they're reptiles, right? Dragons are reptiles, they're not reptilian, right? And
Mhm.
when I think about birds, I don't think of birds as reptilian, and they don't function in that same way, but it's like their song is that fire, is that light. And I think about, I'm like, okay, did dragons sing? Like that is my so was that the fire, right? Because when you feel like I'm a singer, and
Mhm.
when you feel people really singing, like there is a deep fire, there is transmutation, there is again Ophiuchus energy in their
Oh
voice.
yeah.
And when I see the sun here, it literally feels like it's like at the base, like it's at the very end of the throat and just wants to be shot out of the mouth. And so I think what's really interesting is when we sit with that level of shadow and that level of darkness, and also that level of feeling repressed and conditioned, and the pain of the father and the mother, and the how they've like made God an abuser through the Old Testament, like
Yeah.
all of the injustice that has occurred. um it is so powerful to like sit with the light and the power in this place, like to have the sun shining here is very fascinating.
Yeah, it is. I think there's a couple Draco stars that come through Capricornus as well. Don't
Mm-hmm.
quote me on that. I'll have to look it up. Draco's in such an interesting place. It kind of shows up everywhere because it's so big.
Yeah.
Um, but that's interesting. I've never seen Capricorn as a dragon, but I'm going to start feeling into that. That's very interesting. I've always considered it a mermaid.
Yes.
I would say it's definitely one of the most hijacked stars.
Mm-hmm. Especially because they
Um,
made Christ a Capricorn.
yeah,
It's very interesting from like
yeah.
a Roman Empire perspective, right? They made all of their
Yeah,
most powerful
sacrificial goat.
leaders
I mean, yeah,
Capricorn.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like murder, suicide, cult bullshit comes through
Hmm.
Capricornus as well, for sure. So I didn't
But
see
also
any
it was
Draco
their
coming through
sign of
Capricorn.
power and leadership was the Capricorn. Like if you were a Capricorn, you were a legitimate leader essentially in Roman times as well.
Hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
Um, yeah, I
Which we
mean,
know
I think of
even
it as very
astronomically
formless. It can be a
couldn't.
mermaid and dragon.
Yeah, yeah, it
Dragon.
definitely could. Um, and there's something else I was gonna say about dragon energy coming through here. Um, Oh, well, it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And it's good that dragon energy is coming through Capricornus because dragons help clear dense energy. That's what they like do with their, at least their energetic flame is clearing really, really dense energy, especially grids.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so that's good because we need this density to be lifted off Cap. Like they've got enough heaviness. It's like
Yes.
Capricorn, like true Capricornus people, y'all need a break. Okay. Take
Hmm.
your break, please. Um, and it's interesting because even though, dragons have been seen to be mythological creatures, my favorite example that I always tell people are Kunyin's dragon. Her dragon, she was so connected to it in the 3D that a lot of people of China literally physically saw it. So
Hmm.
that's always my favorite example of like dinosaurs aside, which definitely are dragons. I mean, anatomically, it's just there.
Yes.
Um, but even like what we would consider a mythological dragon has been seen by thousands of people and documented in history
Hmm.
and not too far off. I think that was only a couple thousand years ago.
Yeah. They're documented everywhere, like
Yeah,
all
exactly.
over the world.
Like the ancients are not trying to deceive us.
Yeah.
They're trying to help us remember. It's
Hmm.
all the new stuff that's really trying to be deceptive, all the fake BS.
And isn't that interesting that Capricorn holds those very academic, like it's just another institution of power,
Yeah.
and that it actually, like underneath that is like dragon, freedom, earth protection, deep grid work. Like it is like literally, it's like, no, no, there's a new way that's actually ancient. Instead of new Earth, it's like ancient Earth reborn.
Yeah, it is. It's the original Earth archetype.
Original OG Earth. Let's call
Yeah.
it that.
Except no
OG.
gangsters allowed.
No, no.
All right, so we have the full moon that's starting off January. Excuse me. It's going to be peaking at 5:04 a.m. EST on January 3rd in Gemini. What are your thoughts on the full moon in Gemini?
Look at it. It's right in the belly button.
Mhm.
Um, a full moon in Gemini, again, the same that we've been saying with this energy for Sagittarius season is, well, let's look at it a different way. Let's digest this. Let's consider this and conceive of this differently so that we can actually digest it and process it. Right? And I feel like a lot of what can happen when we become so aware of the darkness on the earth is it can be very difficult to digest that and process it and to still feel safe and to feel capable and to feel empowered. And Gemini is here to remind us that, like, hey, we're still divine, even though we have these mortal pains and tribulations that we move through on a collective level, we still have that power in our core. And the fact that it's at the belly button, like that is where that was our lifeline, literally in the womb. Like that was our
Mhm.
first connection to our mother, to the placenta, to our external life-giving organ, which was the placenta. So it feels like very like pure power, pure potential, like stem cell kind of energy. And Gemini just gives you a breath of fresh air. Like it literally will be like, hey, here's another way.
Yes, I love that. And it's so interesting that you were feeling that too, because Mebsuda is the star that's activated, that star in Castor. And this star is connected, well, first it's connected to being like very adaptable, bendable, stretchable. Um, it really embodies that mutable quality of Gemini. So because it's a full moon here, it's really helping us let go of being overly compensating, being too agreeable. And,
Mm,
it's really a great time to be setting some boundaries. Interestingly enough, it's also connected to the medulla oblongata, so where the brain and the spinal cord meet.
mm,
So there is a lot of that stem cell energy that you are picking up. And it also, because it's associated with the medulla, it controls things like blood pressure, involuntary breathing, heartbeat, our wake sleep cycle.
right,
So with the full moon here, it helps us reset a lot of those autonomic processes in order for better health and bodily regulation if need be. So if you're noticing that you're short breathing, like, right, if your body is in this um, state of shock, because like you said, it is a lot to take in when you really recognize what's going on in the world. And again, our nervous system is not meant to know what's going on in the entire planet all the time. It's a lot. And if you want to be that informed, you have to be extra regulated. So, if you realize that you are exhibiting qualities of a prey animal, like short, shallow breaths, you know, um, intense
mm,
heartbeat, feeling anxiety, things like that. Like this is a really great time to, I've been saying unlease, right? It's like you don't want to release something that's just re-signing a contract for it. So like literally
mm,
letting go and unleasing any sort of program that is literally stuck in your medulla oblongata. So I really recommend doing some like tapping there and doing some
mm,
sort of reset in order to have slower breathing, a healthy resting heart rate, a healthy wake sleep cycle. That's the one that I'm going to be working on. I'm
mhm.
nocturnal and it hasn't been an
Yeah.
issue, but I like miss out on a lot of things because I'm 12 hours shifted. Like it's insane. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, but it's a really, really great time to be working with that. And
I
then
feel like,
also, uh-huh.
sorry to interrupt you, but I feel like if you're an astrologer and you're not a night owl, like what's happening?
Yeah. I mean, I am straight up nocturnal. Like it's beyond night owl. Like
Yeah.
I will go to bed at like 6 and 7 in the morning.
Yeah. I do that probably once a month, but most nights I go to bed at 2 or 3, which is annoying because then my baby wakes me up anyway. So,
Uh, I being a mom is very different. I mean, obviously you're
yes.
at the mercy of baby's sleep cycle for sure.
But I mean, that's just my regular way.
Mhm.
Is like 2 to 3. Yeah.
That would be nice.
Mm,
That would be a good shift for me. I've tried so hard to be a morning person for a lot of my life because I had to with a matrix job
right.
that like I've accepted that I'm nocturnal, but I'm also like, okay, but I can't get on this call that I want to get on at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no way unless I stay awake 8 in the morning. But anyway,
Do you know what your human design or what's it called? Determination is?
I don't. I don't know that level of detail, but I
Okay.
have my chart. I could look at it if you can tell me where I would find that, I guess. Is it a certain channel? Is that the word?
It's actually in your variables and it's one of the numbers, and I can't recall right now which number and which variable, but you can have it be listed. Like it's often listed. It's also known as human design digestion. So this is also interesting. This is coming up for anyone that's really curious about their digestion, like digesting life, digesting information, digesting things well, right? When we digest well, we live well, right? That's our core way of taking in energy and processing life and building ourselves is from our digestion. And I think it's interesting that this full moon is speaking to that. For me, at least, especially because it is in the belly of Castor. But in human design, determination, also known as digestion, is your body's most ideal way to digest. And mine is indirect light, which means that I'm meant to eat and also process and take in most of the information that I take in at night
Hmm,
when the light is indirect. And
interesting.
so
I wouldn't
wintertime is
be
a very nice
surprised if I
time for
have
that.
that as well.
Yeah, that I
Hmm.
I would be very intrigued. I would very highly doubt that you have direct light, right? Which is like someone who's meant to be eating in the
Solar based.
sunlight.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah. That I am, I mean, I can't say for sure without looking at the data, but yeah, that would be my assumption because I've always been nocturnal and my natural rhythm is just nocturnal.
Hmm.
Shout out in the comments if you're nocturnal. And this woman's kind of in a loose conjunction with Jupiter there. So I
Hmm.
feel like that's also amplifying this like expandable, expansive, stretchable energy that comes through Mepsuta. And, the energy is stretching, but the boundaries are becoming more solid. So,
Mm.
within the frame of perceptions in Jupiter and the electrical system of Gemini, I think it's really helping us, setting us up for a lot of success in the month. But there's definitely a lot of literal brain stem energy rework going on during this full moon, which is very, very interesting.
Hmm.
And then we have, of course, the opposition of the sun, as with all full moons, and Venus and Mars that are going to be there. And they're activating Zaitu Sag and Omicron Sag. And I didn't mention this about Omicron Sag, but Omicron Sag is connected to protecting the vital organs and then the rib cage.
Mm.
So a lot of these shifts in the body can help balance out the rhythm of your body to improve, organ health or you know, changing your time shifts or with your waking sleeping patterns. So it's a very interesting bodily time, even though I wouldn't associate the Sag Gemini axis with body necessarily, but it
Hmm.
feels very, very body, organ, brainstem energy here.
Well, it's actually interesting because in terms of the physical expressions of these constellations, like Sagittarius is very like front-facing chest,
That's
ribs,
true.
stomach,
Mhm.
abs forward, and then so are the two twins. And I think it's very interesting to consider. It's like, okay, with all of this expansion and the world changing and this massive conjunction happening with Pluto and the cusp of Capricorn and Sag, like we need to be strong in our bodies. We need to feel capable. We need to feel like we're digesting well, like we have energy, like we're healthy, right? And
Mhm.
typically that is the domain of Virgo. And But I think it's very interesting to have it be the domain here because you hear leaders say so often that they take care of their bodies and the vessels that contain them so that they can show up for the leadership, right? Like I know my business coach, she just bought a gym and she started a fitness line. Like she started an organic cotton fitness line. Bless her, bless her.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it's so powerful because when we don't, take care of our bodies and have a strong core, literally, like how do we move forward and have the longevity and the energy to do all of this work, both energetically, but also physically.
Yeah, that's so true. And that's letting me know I'm in some good alignment. I've really been working on my core strength lately. I've done like 300 crunches and sit-ups in the past 2 days. My core is like
Wow.
"Ugh," just like engaged.
Well
Yeah, I've just
done.
been focusing on that in the gym, um, for the most part. And it's so true because, and again, like you said, it's in that belly area. So a lot of this is solar plexus related of like weak core equals weak will.
Hmm.
So really strengthening your core is going to help you. I don't want to say assert your will. I mean, assert it when it's necessary, but be able to embody your own will so that you're not becoming overly stretchable and other people's will, wanting you to do this, that, be this way, that way, is influencing you to the point where it's even influencing your autonomic nervous system, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, that's something I feel like we're just building a gym. I got my husband some weights and some like mats for dropping the weights, etc., to put in our store, to put in our spare room down here.
Awesome.
And I've been really thinking, like yesterday I was touching my belly and I was like, oh, like I'm ready to work on my abs again and get very strong because that's something that I definitely let go of. Like having a baby, like you just lose your core strength, you have abdominal separation. It's just a very interesting thing for your abs. And um, yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting time to get back. Again, it's kind of interesting because there's this theme of like of fitness and core strength and the body being strong and capable, which can again look like many New Year's resolutions to be
Yeah,
fit, to go to the gym, to work out, etc. But it's actually like, oh, this is important. Like it's important to have that energy and power within yourself and to have like physical strength equals outward strength. Like it all is one and the same. Yeah.
it's true. It's all connected. And then, of course, we have this new moon, which we lightly touched upon when we have this, like, major conjunction energy. Um, but on the 18th, peaking at 2:52 p.m. in the Sag Cat void, we have the moon here with everybody else, and it's going to be activating, I think this is M75, like kind of right in the middle. Is it? I think it is. Yeah, okay. So we have M75 here. Pretty pretty. That's kind of like all the planets there are activating M75, and it's a globular cluster, and it's known to have a halo and a bright core. So it's interesting, there's some angelic influences coming, that high vibrational light, and again, bright core. So a lot of solar plexus energy, and that's just the energetics of M75 itself. Like it has a bright core, so it really fits right in with what we're talking about. It's amazing.
Mm.
But M75 is known as a star. Like when activations happen, it really encourages us to follow our own lead and not let anyone deter us from our own path. So it's very, very Sagittarian in that way, but also when it comes to, having a strong core, that is very Capricornus energy because it's kind of like the Atlas thing of Capricorn that can be like,
Mm.
okay, having the weight of the world on their shoulder. It's like you can't carry these things up the mountain. You can't accomplish these goals if you don't have a sturdy core. So
Mm.
M75 is really when the new moon is around here, it's really going to show us a lot of our own path. And then of course that the conjunction with everything here is just like Huge, huge. And it's in the Sag Cat void. So it's really, activating a lot of the bridge between the philosophical and belief system aspect of Sagittarius to the practical materializations of Capricornus, and even the institutions and social structures that run through Capricornus as well.
Hmm. It's time to go to Pilates, everybody. But
Yeah.
expansive Pilates, Pilates with a philosophical teacher, like the yoga of Pilates.
Yeah, I love that. And that's the thing. There's so many different ways that you can strengthen your core strength. Pilates, sit-ups, yoga, dancing kind of to an extent, or ballet. I would say structured dance. Like ballet can really help you keep your core form.
Hmm.
So everybody pick something that feels good to you. That's fun, right? That's another important part is like the Sag aspect of like just have fun.
Hmm. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom. I'll be back.
Okay, excellent. I'm just gonna move through. All right. So at the beginning of the month on January 1st, we have Mercury here. Starting off the month, it is going through the Lagoon Nebula here. If you guys recall, the Lagoon Nebula is associated with the Imum Coeli in your chart. So Mercury is going to be stimulating that IC, that like psychic underworld basement. It's the hardest parts of ourselves to reach. So when that's happening, it's a big deal. Okay. So anything that's coming through your IC, recognize that it's Mercury sending you some information. It's a really great time to do some subconscious or unconscious reprogramming through Mercury. So that can be through the way you're communicating with yourself, new mental mantras, and so on. And then we have Mercury moving past 11 Sag. 11 Sag is an ascension point star. So Mercury is going to be activating the ascension point around the third. It's like literally from the Imam Coeli to the ascension. So apply that information. Then we have Mercury. It's going to be activating Caus Borealis around the 5th, 6th. So this is okay. Caus Borealis is really good at keeping things under wraps and keeping information to oneself until it's time to divulge it at the opportune moment. So Caus Borealis is with Mercury there. It's kind of like you may have some information for yourself, or something that like, oh, this is juicy. Like information is power to a certain extent, and with Mercury there may be a need to like pull back, like, okay, I'm not going to say anything about this until it's the exact moment that I'm going to use this piece of information and apply it to my own betterment. And Caus Borealis is also connected to idealism. So it has that optimistic energy of Sag. So it has this very like ideal sense of like justice and humanity and things like that. So, being idealistic is a strong suit, but also kind of a shadow of this star. But with Mercury there, it coincides quite nicely because it's a star of mental stimuli and information. So, it is really nice that Mercury is going to be there. This star is also connected to the crown chakra specifically, and often has this energy of like needing to defend or protect your crown. So this can be in terms of like ideas or notions, but also in terms of your personal power. I really highly recommend, wearing something protective over your head during this time as well. And because it's Mercury, it's like protect your literal crown from bad information, bad mental mantras. It's not a good day to have like the news on and things like that. And a star of this gift when it comes to like informational sort of stuff is tassography is a gift of the star. So in terms of like that information coming through, you may want to try like reading your tea leaves or even coffee grounds during that time. And then we have what's M22? Come through. Is it?
That just looks so cool.
It
Looks like
is, yeah.
gold. Aura.
Aura, the golden aura. So we can have some gold ray activations, some gold ray gold flame activations. I'm pretty sure, is this also called? I guess not.
That's so interesting. It's like the golden crown.
Yeah, and also it's interesting because we
It's
have
on the
Corona
crown.
Australis, which is
Mhm.
part of the crown as well. So there's a lot of crown energy that comes through there.
Mm.
So we have Mercury going through ARA 2239. So clearly some golden crown energy. Probably a good time to keep stock of your own gold as well. I'm getting the imagery of like the dragon energy of like
Mhm, mhm.
understanding your precious treasure and making sure you're protecting it. Um, so things like vaults and safes can be very, very helpful with that. And then we have Mercury that's going to be lightly activating Nunki around the 8th, 9th, even to the 10th. And again, Nunki is Mercury ruled. And when Mercury is activating Nuki, it's a little bit sneaky, a little bit silly. It has like this kind of almost a fox energy to it. Um, and when Mercury's there, like natives of Nunki, they're very strong orators. They are really great business people. They know how to communicate emotions, influence others, to feel a certain way about things. They really have a way with words in connection with emotions, which again goes back to that water element being influenced by the air element that we talked about with the sun. In terms of Mercury, that's kind of how it applies. And then we have Mercury that is going to be moving into the Sag Cap void. But before we do that, Sonia, your thoughts on Mercury moving through Sag in January?
Mm. It just feels like, again, I keep coming back to it's like having the most expansive thoughts and ways of talking about yourself, your life, what's possible, and really noticing where you have like shame or beliefs that you don't think that you can do something or that you're worthy of something or that something is possible even for the collective. It feels very much like prosperous, expansive prayer that then becomes your new way of thinking about yourself. Also having fun, like having fun through comedy and trying to find comedy that is still like loving because I find a lot of comedy is very dark and talks about like child exploitation and very dark
Yeah.
themes and abuse. And it's almost like a space where they can just call it comedy and then say whatever the fuck they want. Which I mean, I'm here for the freedom of it, as is Sagittarius. But it's
Mhm.
also like, okay, how can we have like aware, loving comedy? Like, how can we laugh a lot more at and how can we laugh at the way that we previously used to think about ourselves or the world? Um, yeah, like it's actually kind of funny when you really like to kind of circle back to everything we've been talking about. When you're with the awareness of the level of like systems of power that are corrupt on this planet and trying to control people, when you back away from it, you actually realize how funny it is that they think that that's possible. Like even with like 5G, 10G, whatever surveillance. No, no, no. Our soul is infinite. Our bodies are so intelligent. And when we take care of ourselves, take care of our bodies, have any semblance of even just having the intention of, I want to think more positively about myself and about life, that can do so much. And having gratitude is like the silver bullet. Like, when you have gratitude, like you become untouchable and everything around you grows. Because even having like the littlest bit of gratitude for like, oh, I love this mug and I love how it feels in my hands, like that level of, I mean, I have a lot of Taurus placements, so that's the kind of stuff I get grateful for, including the earth. And it becomes so expansive. And in this case specifically, think about the people in your life and what they're saying to you and what you say to them, and not to be like, oh, mindful of your words because they're creating your reality, but like you get to choose who you spend time with and what you talk about.
Yeah.
Right. So it's actually very it's very empowering. It's like empowered language, empowered thought. And also teaching and writing, obviously, as well. I'm feeling like a lot of people are probably going to launch podcasts and YouTube channels and start writing their book. Maybe you need to start writing your book during this time. I know we'd all like to receive it. And yeah, it just feels like calling your power back through your own voice.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I think the comedy aspect is really, really important. One of my favorite things to do is go to stand-up comedy shows. Like, I like when a person's job is to make me laugh, end of list. Like, it
Yeah.
really is a great experience because I agree a
Mhm.
lot of the programming, like on Netflix and just television in general, like they have a lot of really downtrodden and horrific things that they sneak into these comedies. And, there have been multiple shows where I've been watching and I'm like, I can't, just like the way a child's being talked to or like a baby is around when something happens. Like, I get it's a movie or a show, but like that baby is still there hearing these words and things. Like, it's just weird that anyone would let their baby be in a room where certain words are spoken of
Mhm.
like a heinous nature or
Yeah.
an overtly sexual nature. It's just so disgusting. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree. And there is a lot of really, really great comedy out there. And honestly, like the whole existence is a comedy. Like the highest I've ever actually projected into, I won't say which dimension it is because I want to protect that information, but when I was up there, it was just multi layers of beings watching the lower layer all laughing at what was going on. It was like, oh yeah, I forgot. This is just a cosmic joke, which
Hmm.
I know is a very common experience when people um, go through like DMT, spontaneous releases, or if they're using it recreationally, often encounter like jesters that are laughing and things like that. So it's kind of funny that it's just funny, period. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Like
Mhm.
remember that it's funny
Yeah. Remember, it's the whole
and
world's a
find
stage,
the humor
everything's a
in it.
joke. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like you have to. And one of the best things that you can do for your body is laugh, like having a
Hmm.
genuine laugh. They say laughter is the best medicine. And it may not always be the best medicine depending on what ails you, but like I think universally, yes, like it is essential. Like you need to laugh once a day and you need a hug once a day. Like those are such important, important things for your body's biochemistry.
Hmm.
And so we have Mercury that's going to be leaving Sag. It goes into, excuse me, the Sag Cap void again with that big party and that giant conjunction. It's going to be moving into Capricornus, lightly activating, lightly activating Okul here of Capricornus around the 23rd, 24th. And um, again, Okul, I had mentioned um, that this star is really good at following directions to a T. So it knows how to apply information and learn from mistakes. And Okul itself is actually known as a lesson learned through mistake or through a journey. So with Mercury there, it's a really great time to apply information from past lessons to ensure your success, especially in terms of business or any sort of institution or academics or school, right? That star is connected to all those sorts of things. Um, and also, Okul is known for things that happen behind closed doors. So this can be considered like soft money type financial backing. Um, and it's also depicted as like a bundle of papers or research. So for anyone who's like writing a dissertation, a book, or doing research project, that's a really wonderful time to be working with Mercury. So I think what you were picking up on at Mercury and Sag, which is a great time for writing and teaching and learning and things like that, that is even getting carried into as we're going into um, Capricornus season and when Mercury
Mm.
enters Capricornus. And then we have Mercury that is going to be activating Eta Cap here around the 27th to 28th, which it will then be activating Theta Cap um, through the 29th-ish. And so Eta Cap is a star that has a lot to do with governments and even like war machine type energies. With Mercury there can be a lot of information coming in about those areas of life. Um, and then Iota Cap is associated with kind of like the Benjamin Button syndrome. So life is typically like really hard at the beginning. Um, so natives of the star are kind of like born old. They go through a lot at a really early time in life, but then later in life they become more childlike and carefree and then can enjoy their life. So things are a little bit backwards with that star. And, Mercury wise, in terms of like daily routine, it points us to delayed gratification. So, like doing things now that our future self will be thankful for and that your future self will have an easier life. So, kind of like taking the burden on now and doing the hard things now so that things are easier later. Um, it's a really great time to like invest. It's a really great time to kind of nose to the grindstone, like work on something that you know is gonna pay off later. Investments are like the biggest energy that comes through here because you don't have to work hard. You know what I mean? It's just like the simple act of doing it. But for those who are working on an actual project or building something, this is a really great time to really focus on that. The shadow side of the star is hypocrisy. So if you're saying something, make sure that you're walking that walk with whatever you're verbalizing in terms of that Mercury energy.
Mm, mm. I love that. It's kind of like have the expansion and then come into like deep embodiment and alignment of that belief and of that way of being. I just I don't know. It's been so many years that I've been doing this and I'm still like, wow, what a beautiful progression. What a powerful way that the stars and the cosmos move. Right? We always get this opportunity for like after fire we have earth, right?
Yeah.
We can just embody it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what are your thoughts on Mercury in Cap in general?
I always think of Mercury and Capricorn as a contract. Like that is what I naturally envision. It's like, what is the contract that we are now bound to? And it feels like this particular time, especially with Venus close by, um, and with Pluto kind of initiating the entrance into Capricorn, it feels like we're committing and devoting ourselves to something that is really meaningful and important and powerful and very healthy. And it's like getting clear that that is what you're committed to and devoted to, right? As a coach, I used to
Yeah.
always ask people, it's like, okay, this is what happened. Here's a drama, here's a pain, here's a misfortune. But what is the commitment? Right? Like you can be like I know for myself, my son has suffered so much from eczema and I have done a lot to try to heal it. And it has tested my faith and my commitment is to healing. My commitment is to faith and I keep on needing to lean into that again and again. When I remember my commitment and my devotion is to believing in healing being possible, I will continue finding a way. And that is really like that level of like when you're that committed and devoted to something and you've decided, like when you decide, everything shifts. And that's real true Capricorn power is decision. Like I have decided to do this. Like I remember one person, I don't know who said it, but like, how do you quit drinking alcohol and smoking drugs? And it's like you decide to stop and then you just continue and then you just continue because you've made that decision. And so
Yeah,
much of our power can be regained when we choose and when we realize that we can choose, right? And that what we are holding
exactly. The
on to
free
is really
will.
beliefs,
Hmm.
right? That aren't
Yeah.
actually real and don't need to be real anymore.
That's true. And the free will energy can be such a big part of so many of these contracts that we have, either the karmic contracts that come through Sag or the ones that we willing enact um, or sign. And even like the contracts that come through Capricornus in mind are like people who are like the original like birth certificate and how that is
Hmm.
a contract with the state that you are now human capital that they trade on and things like that, and how contracts are signed on your behalf via your social security number and things like that. Like all that kind of stuff comes through Capricornus. And, something I've told a lot of my clients for quite some time is like rewrite your contract and reclaim those things, nullify anything that has been
Hmm.
made on your behalf through your social security number, through your name, through your parents, right? Being your legal guardian that could sign on your behalf or act on your behalf or say things on your behalf. Like a lot of this can be done internally, but like literally write it out and
Hmm.
reclaim your sovereignty and that you're not that dead entity that
Hmm.
they trade with. So
I
it's really
remember when
interesting. Yeah. Mhm.
I think it's so powerful to remind people of that and also to not feel like it's like, with that level of burden of Capricorn that it's like endless and that it'll never be done. It's like trust that whatever is coming up for you, like this theme or this particular pattern, like just focus on what is in front of you.
Yes.
Don't try to like, rewrite the whole history of your whole like and I mean you can like there is this expansiveness that's possible but it also feels like knowing enough is enough as well with that sort of work. And I remember when I had first learned about the birth certificate and that whole state was around 2020 2021, and my dad and mom are both trained lawyers back in former Yugoslavia. And I remember I told them and I'm like, oh, I'm not this, I am this instead. And I like use this verbiage, which was like my truth. I'm, like a woman of the earth is what I say.
Hmm.
And my dad's like, great. I love that. That's exactly it. Like you, like I had like a lawyer approve
Awesome. Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
language.
Yeah, a lot of it is going back to the original sound templates of language and understanding what it means and not um the bastardized language that is used today. I always call it like sneaky poetry is a
Mhm.
lot of legal lingo now. Which I love decoding. It's like the Libra energy in me. I love laws. I love the tax code. Like I just love that stuff. It's just a fun game I like to play and learn about. Um, but through my exploration of it, I see it for exactly what it is. Um, and there was something else about the contracts that I was feeling. What was it that you said? Hmm, I don't recall.
I was talking
Um,
about how not to get like caught up in trying to
oh, yes, yes.
get it all done.
Yeah, it's the energy of like only looking at the next step in front of you, which is so important, or feeling like, it's just so heavy that it's never going to be over. And as,
Mhm.
being connected to Saturn, Capricornus does have this, it's very ingrained into time itself. And so that's the Capricorn's journey of the stepwise success up the mountain. You can't start at the basin and want to hit the zenith. Like you should have that mindset that you're going to, but it's really just the very first step that you're going to next. That's going to be, the most important. It's about getting the physics correct to get to that next step. And then from there, then to the next step. So it's really, yeah, just about what is in front of you. And again, even though it seems like a hard process or a bit of a burden, things get easier. That is one thing for Capricornus people. As long as they are doing the right things and taking the right steps, life gets so much easier. Like you reach the pinnacle of the mountain, you have that success, and then you go down and enjoy the oasis. Like you got to dip that mermaid tail in the water, and then you can enjoy
Mhm.
the oasis until you want to do it again. And
Mhm.
typically Capricornus people, they love success so much that even after they revel in their accomplishments, are like, all right, I'm ready for a bigger mountain now. Which I
Yes.
love that about Cap energy.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, so Mercury's going to be ending at iota Cap there. Um, and yeah, I think let's just move to Mars. No, let's not move to Mars. It's so interesting. It
It's
happened
literally
so
not moved to
many
Mars.
times. Yeah. That's happened so many times throughout the years on this podcast. Like, no, we're not moving to Mars. So Mars is starting off in Sag. So it begins the month activating Nunki. Again, this is a directional star. It's a star of direction. So the direction um, is, I don't want to say dictated, but determined. The direction is determined by air, right? So Nunki is the air that influences the water. So it's like thoughts, speech, mindset that influence the water, your emotions, your feelings. So all of these are tied into the direction that Mars is moving. So really having a grapple on your air elements and how your water element is responding is going to determine the path that you're on physically through the actions of Mars. And again, that's a star that burns very hot and bright for a very short a period of time. So with Mars there, again, avoiding that burnout, but understanding that there are some things where you are going to have to put a lot of energy and time into something that needs like higher than energy than usual. So
Hmm.
um, be prepared for that. And then Mars is,
I
sorry,
was
say it
gonna
again.
say, I think that's so interesting that that is Gregorian New Year's Day because
Oh
so
yeah, I
many
didn't
people
even register
are just
that.
like, whoa, like I need to do
Yeah,
and I gotta go. And it's like it just
yeah,
burns right out. Like it
yeah,
just
uh-huh.
fizzles right out, right? Like again, I come back to this like point of view in deciding. Like I feel like once Mars is in Capricorn, it's like, oh, you just decide to be a fit person rather than to have like this New Year's resolution be to exercise more or whatever. Like it's like you decide to make that a part of your lifestyle. You decide to make it a part of your identity.
Exactly.
And I also would say that like with that star and with Mars there, I would be very like it's almost like this balance of like, okay, know that if you really need to do something and you got to put a lot of energy into it, like great, but that's not going to last forever, like what you were just saying. But also be aware of like anger and conflict that's like wanting to come up and just like burning and fizzling out. It's like you might just feel it literally for an hour and then it might go away, right? And to be
Hmm.
kind of curious about your anger. Um, and like you were saying at the very beginning, it's like not making it about the other or even like about the collective, but like, what is this inside of me? Like, what is the belief that I hold that I'm angry at this person for this? Because I actually didn't uphold a boundary, or I didn't actually stand in my power, or I didn't actually believe that I could do this. So, of course, they were doubting me, you
Hmm.
know? Um, that's what I'm just getting from Mars specifically is like you can do a lot, but like what you think you can do is also important.
Yeah. Yep. I love that so much. And again, we have this tight conjunction with Venus and the Sun that's going to be happening for most of the month. And then Mars has this tight conjunction with Mercury here. And again, it's going to be moving through the Sag Cap void, making its journey, passing that M75 during that new moon energy. And then is going to be lightly activating Okul here, like the 28th through the 30th, I want to say. Yeah. And even yeah, like 31st. So Mars is going to be in Capricornus as we enter February. And
Mm.
so again, Okul is a star that can take on a lot and handle a lot. So don't be surprised if your plate is kind of full around this time. You can absolutely accomplish all of it. This star is really great for management and ownership, especially businesses. So if you are one of those people who has a business or wants to own a business or starting a business or working on a project or whatever it may be, it's a really great time to work with Mars. The shadow of that is that Okul can be immoral, so just be mindful of that energy. um, any thoughts on Mars moving from Sag Cap Void into Cap?
Yeah, based on what you just said, it's the message of remember to be yourself as you succeed and act and hold victory. Right? I feel like a lot of the time, the reason why a lot of us don't end up achieving the results that we want, especially in business and creation and monetarily, is because perhaps like we wouldn't hold the victory and stay ourselves. like we wouldn't hold that level of success and not like lose ourselves or just forget who we are. And I mean, that's also a journey to go through in and of itself. I'm not making it bad or wrong,
Mhm.
but it's very powerful to be like, what if you get to be powerful and be victorious and enact change in your life and feel more like yourself than you ever did? Like, feel more authentic and true to yourself, right? I feel
Yeah.
like so often it's like quantum leap and change and transformation and rebirth. And it's like this language, but it's actually like taking people outside of themselves and deeper away from themselves rather than like going inward.
Yeah,
And yeah.
it's interesting because there is this aspect of like loving yourself unconditionally as you are and really embodying your most authentic self, but also the layers of programming that you do have to let go of and
Hmm, hmm,
the things
hmm.
that you identify as yourself that really aren't you. And I
Yes.
mean, it's different for people who are on different levels and their level of consciousness and things like that. But like, I think about myself 10 years ago of like being authentically me. No, girl, heal. Like there's so much
Hmm,
that needed to be gone through and let go of and unleashed. Um, but still, obviously, being the most authentic that you can at that time, because
hmm.
even if you're in those lower programs, the most authentic aspect is like, I don't like this part of my reality. I don't like this part of myself. I want to
Yeah.
be this way, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, Not in a fake way. I don't know. It's really hard to explain the energetics of it. Um, but again, I guess it just depends on what kind of healing someone's done, I guess.
Well, I think this is really the core tenet of why we're even personally relating to the cosmos for ourselves, why we read our charts and feel known and feel like we understand ourselves is so we can have this connection to our power and this remembering of who we really are. And of course, there's so much deconditioning to be done. And when we enter the space of Capricorn and also this space where there was this Pluto party, it can be so tempting. I truly feel that there's this like temptation to be like, oh, well, this is how other people win and this is how they
Mm,
do it. And so you kind of lose yourself. Like you don't do it in the way that you want,
yes,
right?
yeah, I totally, totally see that. And I find that a lot with coaches, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, just follow my three-step method of this,
Mm-hmm.
and boom, magic results. And kind of going back to the like gender war things, I see a lot of that, like, oh, soft life this, just do this, like manipulate for this. And then, on the other end, it's kind of like how to psychologically manipulate women to sleep with you with no effort, sort of thing on the male end. So I
Mm-hmm.
definitely, and again, those things do have success, but it's like at what cost? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're denying your true authenticity. And of course, then that's the type of relationship you're going to end up with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
I also just want to say Mars in Aries was the only like Greek god that never abused a woman.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's like everything that your heart desires and that your inner child wants can be had by you being fully authentically yourself. But the work is to release the conditioning, the false self, the desire to emulate other people because they've had a success that we maybe want, but we don't get to it in the way that they did.
Hmm. And that's the really important part of trailblazing, right? Of
Hmm.
like making your own path. And that's for people who are in that energy of leadership, people who know that they're here for a specific purpose. If you feel like, I feel like maybe this lifetime is for me to have a peaceful, mediocre life. Yeah, I want to have comfort. I want to have, ample wealth and health and things like that. Then the template's already there. It's very easy to have a healthy life. It's very easy to accumulate money if you follow people who already have these programs, day trading or real estate, like all of these things that are proven true time and time again. But again, if you're meant to do something else, then following someone else's template isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Or it will be at the cost of self-betrayal, I'll say.
Yes. Yeah.
That's so interesting about Mars and Aries. That's so interesting.
Isn't that fascinating?
It
My
is, it
my husband
is.
told me about that and I was like, "Oh, I've just been sitting with it for a while now."
That is so, I mean, I guess when you are the embodiment of the god of war, when you're out there slaughtering your enemies, I mean, what better sweet nectar than to treat a woman in the exact opposite way,
Right?
you know? It's like
Absolutely.
I totally get that.
That's hot.
Yeah, it is.
I'm here for it.
All right, and then we have Jupiter in Gemini all month, of course. Jupiter is going to be retrograding all month. It began its retrograde on November 11th,
Mm.
11/11, and then it's going to be ending its retrograde in March, on March 20th. So,
Mm.
I'm sorry, March 10th. Sonia, what are your thoughts on Jupiter retrograde in Gemini?
Well, for those of us that have a Jupiter in Cancer approaching, it kind of feels exciting and a little bit like, oh, it's almost here, but it's withholding a little bit. But it's perfect timing. And for those of you that have Jupiter Gemini, like this is a really powerful opportunity to get reactivated in that level of expansion. I really think that Jupiter and Gemini is here for the people, like the people that come into our lives, the opportunities, the teaching. I even mentioned in the comments, like, I would love to have you be a co-teacher in one of my spaces. And that is what the energy feels like in general. It's like co-creation, co-teaching. We all have something to add. We all have something to say, and let's all speak and come together. And those people coming together to be the teachers and to be the ones that expand the mind and the body. Um, yeah, it feels so exciting. I feel like Jupiter and Gemini has also just been a time and an era for podcasts, for YouTube,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
like visual podcasts. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like I joked a lot because I am a Swiftie. Like I love that music. But when Taylor Swift decided to go on that podcast and speak and announce her new album, she did it during her Jupiter return,
Huh.
and her soon-to-be husband is having the same Jupiter return, and it was in Gemini. And I'm like, that is so Jupiter and Gemini coded to go on a podcast together as celebrities and like, just grow the fame, grow the celebrity, and get people amped up about a new album. And then people also projecting and saying everything like, oh my gosh. I think it's so interesting to just notice the opportunities of expression and communication and teaching. And again, I feel like there's so many people. One of my core, I'm not the type of marketer. I don't have a one size fits all strategy. My strategy is to integrate the cosmos and like deep authenticity with people's businesses and just like feel into like what would just make sense for them to be doing. And it just feels like honest and true, right? It's just the honesty and branding, which is rare. But I think what's interesting is that so often I'm constantly telling people they need to be on YouTube. So I'm so glad that we're here on YouTube. But I really feel that a lot more people are going to tune into the fact that they can actually teach and build trust really instantaneously on YouTube, and not just build an audience, but also build sales, build a whole like YouTube funnel. It's a very, very powerful platform, and it's actually exceeded streaming services. Like more people watch YouTube on their TV than they watch Netflix.
Hmm, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I think it's
And it
actually a
pays the
really big
best.
opportunity.
It pays the best in terms of social media.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it does.
per view, it pays the most.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think it's very interesting. Like, I think it's very interesting, this new era of mostly what YouTube is here for is to spread new information. And so it feels like this is the era. Like, of course, it was during this time that Jupiter exceeded like Netflix for TV views. And yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting once it goes into Cancer. That's going to be that's going to be quite interesting.
Hmm. I love Jupiter and Gemini. I have this placement, so
Hmm.
um, which I don't know if you could tell. Um,
Hmm.
so we have Jupiter that's going to be activating
Deep
This
space.
it's the Eskimo Nebula.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is a really playful area of the sky, the Eskimo Nebula. And it's known for being really good at like playing pretend and kind of like getting into character and things like that. It's very like upbeat, very entertainment related. So it kind of coincides with exactly what you're talking about. Um, in terms of like sharing information or kind of almost putting on a show. But the
Mhm.
shadow is kind of like masking or feeling the need to mask to like fit in or to perform or something like that. So during this time, it's very good that you're staying authentic of unless of course you're actually getting into character or like,
Mhm,
acting
mhm,
or
mhm.
doing like a play or something like that. Which is really great for it's people who have Eskimo Nebula in their chart typically are drawn to those sorts of um, theatrical, getting into character, or even, sometimes like people have a social media persona as well. Um,
Mhm.
and it's like just because you have a lot of characters in you, you can still express them. It's not always not being authentic by being that, right? Some people literally have these multiple personalities, I guess you could say, in them. Like some of
Mhm.
my favorite content creators are just like goofballs that,
Oh
dress
yeah.
up as Mrs. Claus or, the auntie that's always like that, which I really, really appreciate. And Jupiter is retrograding towards Wazat, which has been highlighted so many months now because of the retrogrades. But Wazat is a star that is connected to grid work, specifically doing grid work at places that you have been to before. So a lot of people in terms of travel when it comes to Gemini might be going back to old locations like where you were born or
Hmm.
places you've vacationed before or a place that you lived before. Sometimes it can be past life stuff, but usually it's this lifetime contracts that you have with a certain grid. And Wazad is also known for speaking truth and speaking with authority and speaking up in general, especially against general public consensus.
Hmm.
So there can be a lot of people who are, speaking on things that they know to be true, against what other people say or what other people think. And so, in terms of like the success and expansion, that Jupiter can bring in that way, and even the abundance and luck energy that comes through Jupiter, which I know we didn't talk a lot about that through Sag, but like it's the
Hmm.
luckiest and the most abundant without having to do the work except changing the mind. It's kind of like
Yes.
manifestation comes through Sag,
Hmm.
materialization of like working hard, and then of course you achieve your goal, and all the riches that come with it come through um, Cap. But I don't recommend only working with Jupiter energy for a long time. Sometimes that will be a bad thing. But
Hmm.
you can definitely coast on it for quite some time, but you can't do it forever. You kind of learn that the hard way. Um, and
It also
uh,
is just very visible right now. Sorry to interrupt you,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it is so beautifully visible this winter, especially, well, you can see it from any hemisphere because it's on the ecliptic, but oh, it's so immense. Like just talking to Jupiter, she's very loud. Like she's just so loud and she is literally like a cheerleader. She's like, "Yeah. Like keep going. I believe in you. Like it's all good." Like that's literally how Jupiter sounds to me. Oh.
I love Jupiter. Jupiter is has been my favorite to work with. Although, like,
Mhm.
I'll share a short anecdote. So I've worked with Jupiter for almost a decade now, probably. And like, luck and abundance. It's just so easy. Like, oh, okay, winning at the casino, winning at the lottery, strangers giving me money. Da, da, da. Like, it's just like, oh, this is great. I love it. I'm winning contests and lotteries and all this sort of stuff. And like, I got a message from my spirit crew, like, it's time to stop working with Jupiter. You have to start working with other planets. And I was like,
Mhm.
no, why? Everything's so bountiful and plentiful, and I'm getting everything that I want. And I'm just, everything I do is just lucky. And then, and I was, vacationing and getting free trips and all this sort of stuff. And Zuby and I, we went on vacation to Florida and we went out one night and got robbed. I got robbed and they got all of my cards, my phone, so I couldn't use anything. And when I tracked it, it was in Jupiter, Florida. I was like, gosh, dang it. Okay, I didn't listen, but now I'm listening. So
Wow.
that was my lesson of like, spirit guides will ask once. If they have to ask twice, it's a bad lesson you don't want to learn. So,
Mm,
never again will I overdo it on the Jupiter stuff. Like, you can't rely on just winning and being lucky and just
right.
thinking you're abundant. Like that, it works, but not forever.
Yeah, like don't push your luck, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Oh, it was such a pain in the butt. I couldn't
Oh.
do anything I wanted to for the rest of the vacation either because I didn't have my ID. We were going to go on this like casino cruise, couldn't go on it because I didn't have my ID, didn't have any of my money, didn't have any of my cards. And like I called to see if I could get a card, but it happened on a Friday night and the earliest they could ship like they could ship it and they said it would be there on Monday, but I was leaving Tuesday. So I was like, I'm not even gonna mess with it. But
Mm.
anyway. Yep.
Speaking of which, I'm like, ooh, as soon as you said there's another planet to work with, I thought Saturn.
Saturn. Yeah. Uh-huh. I've been trying, I mean, it's not I've been trying. I have been successfully working with Saturn in different ways for a long time, but it is the planet that I am working with now.
Mm.
Um, and I mean, I still work with a lot of different planets, but yeah, I'm really working on the Saturn level things of discipline, especially with like fitness and things like that. I'm like, okay, it's time to really be disciplined and get this, in my schedule and making it more of a priority. Um, but we have Saturn here, conjunct that Neptune. It is in the Pisces Cetus void all month, not doing much. Saturn station direct late November, and has been moving direct all December. So he's going to be moving direct, or she, or it will be moving direct, excuse me, all month, getting closer with Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, those conjunctions
and
are coming again.
yes, that's true. Like very, very close conjunction. So I'm curious, how do you feel now that Saturn is direct after that long retrograde? Like how have you felt into it for December? And how do you feel
Mm.
of it going into January as it's getting closer with Neptune?
Well, especially because it's so close to Neptune, I just think about the theme of what was occurring during Scorpio and Ophiuchus season, and it was very much like, okay, we're not gonna, this illusion is gone, like you have to look at the truth of this, like this is, you got to be with this in a very real way. And then there was this like loving compassion that comes through because Saturn and Neptune are both in Pisces. That's like, okay, we can sit with this, we're in the depths with you for you to move through this and process it. And yeah, it's very interesting. It was almost like there was like a withholding. And then all of a sudden it was like, here you go.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I totally feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It,
Saturn doing that how do I want to put it? Almost like edging, maybe. Like just like
just Saturn
withholding.
edging.
Like, okay, now you can have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Saturn practicing Tantra. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh. With Neptune even.
yeah,
Getting
yeah.
so
Oh, that's
close.
interesting. So close. Oh,
Uh-huh.
we're so close.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because Neptune also has just ended its retrograde. Well, kind of like 20 days ago.
Hmm.
So the fact that they're both now direct, but Saturn's moving faster, obviously, so getting closer, it's very interesting um,
Hmm.
as that becomes tighter. Because for me, like Saturn and Neptune conjunction is really like practical and spiritual. Like they are
Hmm.
not separate anymore. It's really understanding that they are one, especially through the we are all one energy that comes through Pisces and even through the Cetus energy of like everything, totality is all one, even our past lives and galactic
Mhm.
histories and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, of like the the magical, the esoteric, the metaphysical is the material. There is no separation. So the energy that you're holding is going to materialize no matter what it is. And even um, when it comes to kind of the spiritual alignment aspect of Neptune or the esoteric aspect of like um, like meditating or like for example, working out is a great example. Like making that, okay, this is a form of prostration. This is a form of
Mhm.
worship of my own body, but also the creator of all. Like this is how I worship is by honoring my temple. I worship it
Mhm.
by eating healthy. I worship it through movement. And even things like for those who enjoy ritual magic, it's like, okay, how can I do what I'm already doing as a form of ritual magic? Like
Mhm.
maybe, like cleaning the kitchen, like program your cleaning solution to bring in abundance or clear negative energies and things like that. Like there's so many
Mhm.
practical magic things that you can do where it's like your spiritual life should not be separate from your regular life.
Yes.
Like life is a spiritual experience and
Yes.
spirituality is a mundane experience as well. Like they really are
Mhm.
all one. So I'm really loving this conjunction. Um,
Yeah.
and they're going to be activating lightly Lambda Pisceum. And so this star is connected to Ursa Major.
Mm.
So it has a very, very protective energy. It helps shield Earth from any sort of negative interference. And it's also a weather star. So it's how emotions influence weather patterns, very similar to Acellus Australis in the Cancer constellation. That is more of which I think that was the last time you were on, we talked about this star,
Mhm.
which ended up kind of being part of your wedding too, how
Yeah.
everyone wished the rain to go away and it did, which is
Well,
wonderful.
everyone thought it was going to rain, and I was just like, no,
Oh,
no, I
okay. Your
got it.
power superseded theirs. Well, good for
Yeah.
you. You go, girl. That's awesome. Yes.
But it was quite
Um,
annoying. I was like, is another person going to call the rain? Because no, thanks.
yeah, because Alcellus australis, emotion controlling weather through Alcellus australis is more localized,
Mm.
whereas Lambda Pisceum is more collective.
Hmm.
So it can manifest as like bigger weather events that can be cataclysmic but doesn't necessarily have to be but
Hmm.
it can be if like the collective is in big unrest that can materialize as like earthquake typhoon type sort of stuff
Mm.
um but in general if the
Mm.
collective is in a better mood obviously happy sunshine rainbow energy but obviously a lot of us have to hold that vibe for that. And
Mm.
Lambda Pisceum is also a one-dimensional star. So it's an anchor star for the first dimension. So Saturn there is doing some like first dimensional reprogramming. That's just like
Mm.
pinpoint x-axis data type thing. Um, and the shadow side of Lambda Pisceum has a martyr complex. So with Saturn there and Neptune there, it's really highlighted um, to one, like stay away from any martyr complex that you have. Like whatever mission you have, you do not have to die on any hill, but fucking slaughter on many. Like you should not be dying for anything.
Hmm.
Like that stops you from completing your mission, and then you're just recycled back here again, back at the start. So get rid of the martyr complex and also stay away from people who have martyr complexes. I feel like they have to be taking bullets for XYZ, whatever, however it may
Hmm.
manifest. It can come through as a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Um,
It feels like such profound wisdom just comes through Saturn and Neptune together in this space. And it's personal, it's past life, it's collective, it's all of it. It's all of it at once. It's primordial with that Cetus energy. It really does feel like it just feels like we're seeing things more clearly and we have this like steadiness and wisdom. Again, it brings me back to like leadership is changing. Like to me, the future of leadership is not
Mhm.
more people being like, I know the way and this is the way and follow me and I'm really strong and look at how bold and look at how courageous I am. But actually like, oh, I like, oh, I've been hurt. I'm going to go heal. And now I can show up and, oh, I have the capacity to do this. And let me get other people involved that also can do this. And let's do something that's actually going to enact change. And it's very service oriented, but also still human. Like it feels very like that typical like dualistic Palladian journey of like they're taking care of themselves, but they're also taking care of the world. And
Mhm.
they're not like, oh, look at me. It's like, oh no, we all need to be involved and we all have our unique way. And we've been practicing and playing at it and learning about it for lifetimes. And here we are. And it's so interesting because like here we are talking about that like level of depth. Like, isn't it sometimes just such a mind fuck to you to like think about this is what we talk about on YouTube,
Yeah.
like on a,
Yeah.
on a Tuesday night. Like and then I'm
Yes.
gonna go
Yeah.
upstairs and like, have some soup and just hang out with my baby. Like
Yeah.
it's funny. Like it's funny that this is the work that we're
It is.
doing, but also
Yeah.
like we're just living as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It is. It's a great cosmic joke. And I love it. And it's so funny because, these conversations you can't have with everybody, right? It's like
Yeah.
with some people for like, oh, Neptune and Saturn are activating Lambda Pisceum. They'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't care. Or even some people will be like, no, no, they're not in Pisces.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's just a very interesting time.
it is.
Um,
And I think, in the Mayan calendar, they always talk about time being art. And I feel like that is literally like Saturn, Neptune in Pisces, time equals art. Like that is literally what this time is. And I have really been sitting with Mayan astrology a lot more lately, especially as I create like my own cosmic calendar for the next year. And um, but I like adamantly reject the Gregorian calendar. And it's so interesting. Like it's so interesting to sit with like what is actually the most natural way for us to sit with change and time.
mhm.
And it doesn't feel like it's the mind calendar to me because that is like, it's just such a big fractal system of like the great cycle that
Yeah.
is important to tune into, but it's not actually very grounding, I find.
Yeah, it's like for on a day-to-day basis, it's hard to apply.
Hmm. And it's
Yeah.
also
Or
not
like,
visible. You can't
yeah,
see it.
exactly. Yeah, you have to be logging.
Yeah. You have to,
That's
it's
why
a
for me, I
felt.
like the specific stars. Like for me, I'm like, okay, we're in the era of Pluto in Sag Cap.
Yeah.
Like for me, that already tells me where I am in time and space for
Hmm.
to the
Hmm.
farthest moment out there, and everything else is just kind of like
Yeah.
the hours and minutes to an extent, like or
That's
seconds is
interesting.
kind of how the moon feels for me,
It's like Pluto is
even
our
though
new
I know it's day.
timekeeper.
Yeah. That's how I know where I am is where Pluto is. And then everything
Hmm.
else just puts me in reference of this time period.
Whoa. Isn't it interesting that there hasn't even been a full Pluto cycle, that Pluto has been like discovered,
Oh, since Pluto was
like
like first
discovered
seen
on
through
like,
the okay.
yeah.
Yeah, uh-huh.
But I feel like, I mean, we must have known about it in previous.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. I would say in our current scientific astronomical understanding of documentation, yes.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, especially as a Pluto level worker, like I've been so connected to Pluto. Even before I knew I was a Scorpio and things like that when I was a kid, I used to say I was from Pluto. And like now I fucking know why.
Whoa.
Yeah, but my sun and Pluto are conjunct, so
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
That's wild.
So yeah. Yeah, I'm
Wow.
very, very Plutonian or
Mm.
platonic even. Yeah.
Platonic. Right, make it a little more fun.
Yeah.
I'm
except
actually going
no.
to make an album. My first album that I'm releasing is called Venus is Burning. Or no, that's one of
Oh,
the singles. That's one of the singles on the album. It's going to be called Venus Waves. It's going to come
oh,
out, I think, for Aquarius season. I'm going to be launching it. And my next album that I want to create is called uh, Pluto Melts.
ooh,
Yeah, because it's a nice
interesting.
planet.
Yeah, it is. Ice with
Hmm.
that heart of toxic gas.
Yeah, just a heart of toxic gas. So what happens when Pluto melts? It's a little toxic.
I believe that. I believe that.
And it's just really all the songs of just like the anger and the resentment and the betrayal that I've ever felt. And I'm just like letting myself say it, even though it's been
Good for
years
you.
that some of
Awesome.
this shit has been over. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I'm gonna sing about it anyway.
Yeah, definitely get it out. Because like if it's still in the mind, it's still in the body somewhere. So
Hmm.
again, like time, like kind of like we said, time is art, and it's like take
Yeah,
things from the time past, those ghosts of the past, and transmute them into art. Like it really can create something very, very beautiful. And thank you,
absolutely.
because I also should probably be doing some of that stuff. I don't sing. I mean, I can sing or whatever. I mean, I do sing, but I don't sing well. Um, but yeah, I have some deep pain that I should train, probably to writing or something or painting. So
Hmm.
that's also something to add to my list.
Just add it to the list.
Yeah,
There's Saturn Neptune conjunctions happening. It's it's the era for it, really.
it is. Yeah. And we also have like the Pegasus activations,
Hmm.
which are
Hmm.
really giving that like very high vibrational avian, equestrian energy that's coming in too. And Pegasus energy, um, it so Pegasus energy, the energetics that run through here, the Pegasus help collapse war timelines by making
Hmm.
sure that any battle that has to occur before war timelines are completely collapsed, that the right situations, things happen, or the right souls perish in order to make sure that we get onto those timelines. So
Mm.
it feels a little backwards, but that's how I can explain it is like they make
Mm.
sure the right side wins in order to make sure that we get on complete no war timelines ever.
Mm.
Um,
Heck
so
yeah.
it's a very dense, kind of icky energy. So thank you, Pegasus, for doing that for us because it's
Yeah.
not very, very fun. But some rainbow ray energy can come through the Pegasus lineages as well. Pegasus and unicorn energy are very, very similar. Um,
Hmm.
because they both are timeline keepers as well.
I was just about to say, because that unicorn is also beneath Gemini and Pluto, I mean, Jupiter,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
that's also
Yep.
probably why it
Monoceros.
just feels
Uh-huh.
so deeply magical. You're like, great, we've
Yeah,
got
I
unicorns
never
on our
even
side.
realized that they were in opposition to each other. Yeah. Uh-huh. Right here,
Right?
Monoceros. I love Monoceros. Yeah. And that's the thing, Jupiter is going to be activating Monoceros as well. It's a really good point. Um,
Hmm.
because yeah, unicorns, they rip the space-time continuum for timeline jumping. Like they're like mathematical glitches almost in the time a universal time matrix that can like get you from A to B. I actually have a timeline jumping workshop through the power of the unicorn,
Oh,
um,
yeah.
which helps you timeline jump. So anyone who's watching, if you're interested, check that out.
That is
Um,
so cool.
huh?
That
Sorry,
is
what?
so cool. Didn't you mention that that you were teaching that when something really significant happened? Isn't that when
Yes,
you found
yes,
the true sky?
yes. So so Zuby and I taught that course, and that is when we had our True Sky Awakening. Yeah, it was on 8/8 of 2020 or 2021, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh. I wish I knew
Yep.
the exact date that I had my True Sky Awakening, but I was also with another like former friend who is also a True Sky astrologer. And we were both just like staring at the moon and the stars around the moon. And we were like, wait a minute, that's in Cancer.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But yesterday it said it was in Leo, and that can't happen. we're like, what's happening here? And then we literally looked all around the sky with our like
Uh-huh.
astronomy apps, and we're like, wait a minute, like there's, oh my gosh, it's Leo, and then here's Virgo, and we're like, what? Like this is, we could just look at it up here. We're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a pretty profound
That's
shift.
exactly what happened to Zuby and I. And it's so interesting because it was also that shift of Leo to Cancer. Because we did it on 8/8, which were like Lionsgate.
Right, 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 right.
And then we see the sun and we're like, it's in Cancer. What the F? Like, what? Because it was also a new moon that day. Like it was like big
Oh,
Lionsgate portal.
whoa.
There were like multiple
Hmm.
placements there too. And then yeah, we saw it and we were like, oh my God. Yeah, it was insane. So yeah, definitively I can tell you with 100% accuracy, this timeline jumping workshop literally will get you to jump timelines. For us, it brought us onto the True Sky organic timekeeping mechanism timeline. So obviously that is life shattering to an extent,
And
paradigm shattering,
aligning.
I should say, life altering, life lifting.
I
Yeah.
am still fathoming the fact that we both had our true sky awakenings with a moon
Yeah.
in Cancer. And for you, it was the sun also there because it was the
Yeah.
new
Uh-huh.
moon.
Yes.
Whoa.
That so there must be something between like in true Cancer. I'm trying to think about the stars that are there. My guess is it's probably beehive cluster activations, which are
Hmm.
like it stimulates a lot of matriarchal forces to rise and to help collectives of people.
Yeah.
So that would be my guess. Just thinking about the stars and the energetics of the stars in Cancer.
That makes,
So it
I
looks
mean, the
like
ship
Sun.
is also beneath it. It's like, let's steer you the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also Ursa Major is above, which is always like the anchor point of the sky. Like most people, when they stargaze, they find
Yes.
Big
Big
Dipper.
Dipper, Little
So,
Dipper. Yep. Uh-huh. That was the first constellations that I knew, which wow, I just had a flashback to my childhood. My mom got me a puzzle of the constellations that glowed in the dark, like the stars,
hmm.
so that I could um yeah, learn them. Thanks,
Whoa.
Mom.
I always felt at home as soon as I would find the Big Dipper. I was like, oh, okay, I'm back. I'm home. Like I would feel at home as soon as I'd see the Big Dipper.
That's awesome, especially because it's a navigation
Hmm.
constellation as well. I
Hmm.
know like the Underground Railroad, a lot of enslaved people found their freedom by working with Ursa Major. And it's interesting because Ursa Major is such a protective
Hmm.
shield for the planet. So it's really
Yeah.
beautiful.
Wow.
And I remember you talking, I don't remember in what reference. I think it was the protected, or it was like kind of dual thing of like, okay, you're doing your mission, but you're also helping the world sort of thing in
Hmm.
terms of Pleiades.
Yeah.
And perfect because Uranus is activating the Pleiades cluster all month long still.
Hmm.
Excuse me.
Just won't quit.
And yep, it
Won't
won't.
quit on them.
Definitely not. I mean, Uranus is going to be here for quite some time. Um,
Oh my gosh, I
and
just had a vision.
tell me, tell us.
I just had a vision because, oh, is that Neptune? Does it also have diamonds on Uranus?
So, yes, yes. And that's so
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, yeah, continue.
So I'm like, okay, Uranus diamonds in the Pleiades, wouldn't that be a gorgeous necklace?
Yes. Do you make jewelry?
I don't, but that friend of mine, she does, she used to make jewelry all the time. But I have so many Taurus placements. I'm like, ooh, like I don't make it myself, but that would be the type of thing you could get like designed and
Well, calling in diamond necklaces for us both, and
calling
anyone
in some
who's,
diamonds for
and
everyone
yes,
listening.
everyone listening, you get a diamond and you get a diamond. And it's
Oh,
so
and
interesting.
honestly, if I
Uh-huh.
could get diamonds from Uranus and Neptune, oh,
Well, the best thing to do, so I'm not sure about Neptune, but I know Uranus has diamonds and it rains diamonds.
yes.
Um, and so working with Uranus, ask Uranus for diamonds and be gifted. Uranus can give you one. I've gotten other jewelry from other planets, let me tell you.
Okay. Nice.
Um, and it's so interesting that you mentioned that because Althor is getting activated this month as well, and the Diamond Dragon lineages come through Althor.
Oh, diamond dragons.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So during this month, there could be some Diamond Dragon, elemental activations for people. And I know since you were talking about dragons, I feel like it's very relevant for you too. So that's
Mm,
good.
so powerful.
It is. Yeah, do you have any thoughts on Uranus activating the Pleiades in general?
I've never actually said this before, but I really just got clarity that it's about, like, on a cellular DNA level, healing that feminine prey, like sexual assault wound in
Hmm.
ourselves if we've experienced that, but also in the collective, so that like women truly feel safe to create and to innovate and to do everything that they're meant to do without that fear of, like, Orion the hunter coming for
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yeah, we want Sag the Hunter. Woo.
And hot Aries. Aries is hot too.
That's right. Yeah. Throw a little Mars in the action in there.
Little Mars.
Um, yeah, that's very interesting. I feel like uh, since Taurus controls over like fixed earth energy, which for me is your body, it's an
Hmm.
element of earth that is fixed through this lifetime and the planet. I definitely feel like, yeah, releasing the trauma from the body. Um, yeah, through the Uranus collective energy. And I know the world is really healing through everything that's come out. And, you know, also not just women, like collectively, also
Yes,
boys have been brutally
of course.
molested by the church, the Catholic
Yes.
Church being the biggest pedophile institution in the world. Hollywood, everything that's
Mhm.
come out about that, the Epstein stuff, like
Yeah.
every institution that people have put their faith in is raping and murdering children.
Hmm.
And it's really fucked up. And women do, on uh, as they say, like not all men, but all women. Um, I've never met a woman who hasn't been sexually assaulted.
Mm.
And I've met a lot of women. So it's like it's just an experience that we've all faced, and it's based on men's behavior, period, end of list. That's the only determining factor that makes it sexual assault is that
Yeah.
there isn't an assaulter.
Hmm.
So yeah, I definitely feel the collective healing that on a general level. I've never felt it through Uranus and Taurus, but I could definitely see that. Um, Especially kind of going back to the gender war energy that we started the episode with, like it'll be really good for various pockets of collective consciousness or class consciousness through Uranus to really do that healing work. Yeah, to feel safe to be sexy again, make America
Yes.
sexy again for fuck's sake. Like, make women sexy again, damn
But
it.
not like
Like,
TikTok sexy, you know what I mean?
no, definitely not.
Internalized
Not sex, um, like,
objectification.
yes, not objectified, but like, I mean, women should be able to dance around and be gorgeous, naked little nymphs if they want without the fear of
Yeah.
being hurt.
Yeah.
Like that is something we really need to come back to true purity, not,
Hmm.
oh, cover up, that's pure. It's like, no, everyone should be able to be naked and everyone should be able to control themselves. Like
Yeah.
that's how we're born. That's really how we live here. Um, so yeah, it's just really, really interesting.
Hmm.
But I really love that interpretation and I'm looking forward to the collective really healing that. Especially because the Pleiades really help anchor in a lot of the organic timelines.
Hmm.
Um, and so obviously Uranus, rebellion, revolution, all that sort of stuff is coming through. And I think, we have felt it for quite some time. I know a lot of the anger energy coming through Uranus was during like the Me Too movement and stuff like that. Like all the really big anger outburst stuff was happening. Um, Around that time, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that was the beginning of Taurus. Um,
Interesting.
but yeah, it'll be good to continue to heal that. One more comment I want to make about Elthor is that one of the energetics of Elthor is the more that you follow natural law, the more money and material resources that you will access, keep, and multiply.
Mm.
So Elthor is really about like the more connected and harmonious you are with nature, the more that just resources in general become accessible to you.
Mm.
And
That's so
then,
powerful. And it's so beautiful
yeah.
given what it is that we're all sitting here doing and listening to. We are connecting to the natural cycles. And
Hmm.
oh, I love that.
Hmm. And also when it comes to like, the gender war stuff is like a woman multiplies men. Like if you invest in a woman, she will multiply your blessings.
Hmm.
So it just follows suit.
Did you say blessings?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've heard that blessing is a spell because you're actually telling it to be less. So I only say blessings now, or I say Blissey, which is a Pokemon of bliss and joy and happiness and ascension. So yeah,
I feel like you could do a whole I don't know if you've done this, like the Zodiac as Pokemon.
it's interesting that you say that. That was actually on my list of things to do is to completely redo the entire constellation system of no downtrodden energies whatsoever and reprogram it for future generations. So that is on my list of things to do. And interestingly enough,
Casual.
about 6 months ago, the Pokemon Company decided to do a constellation series. So they did it for me. So all I have to do is channel the knowledge. So I'm really excited for that one. Yeah. Usually I don't talk about projects until they're done. But since you mentioned that, yeah.
Obsessed.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. So I actually have the poster series that they put out of the constellations with the Pokemon. So yeah, I got that for myself for Christmas this year
Oh
or
my
for the
God. Isn't
holidays.
it so interesting how we're here doing this work and we're doing it very expressively and like clearly, like we're aware of what we're doing, but that it's also in the collective. I mean, who knows who's working
Hmm.
at Pokemon? Like
Yeah.
The anime people, like the people that made Sailor Moon, I'm like, what did you know? And what were
Yeah.
you programming into me that I
Yeah.
needed to know? Like I
Mhm.
could do a whole deep dive into like what did Sailor Moon activate within us? Like what did they know and what did they intend? And yeah, that's very interesting. That's so fascinating.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm really excited. It's been on my list, but I have some other things I need to do first.
I
And I
know.
feel like we talked about Neptune quite extensively already with that Saturn conjunction. So move to Pluto. Pluto in the Sag Cat void all month. Not moving much the entire month. Of course, we have this giant activation of that conjunction that's going on. But that's it.
Mhm.
Pluto isn't doing much. Um, it again, it did have that alignment with Altair on December 11th, so we're in a fresh exit of Pluto return energy again. I think it's the third exact Pluto return.
Mm, that's
And
good.
yeah. And so, Sonia, do you have any feelings about Pluto in this area for the month of January?
I just really feel like, the party's coming to Pluto and Pluto is the party. Like
That's right.
that's just what's happening. And I honestly feel I feel a lot of deep trust. And I feel taken care of by Pluto. And I'm like, oh, because it can be so overwhelming and heartbreaking to consider the level of change and reform that our systems of power need in order to actually be of service to the world, the earth, and humanity. And I'm like, oh, Pluto's got it. And it will be clear what my action is, what your action is, like what we're here to do. And I think that this Pluto conjunction, that massive party at the start of the month is actually about like, what is that? Like getting more clarity, like I said before. But Pluto's got it. Like Pluto's got it handled in such a beautiful way that we don't need to control it. Like it really is just my reminder that there is like a divine force orchestrating and taking care of things. And we are a part of it. We're not separate from it. We're not just a witness to it. We are a co-creator, but it's got a massive plan that yeah, it's so fun. Like, how do people think we already went through Pluto to Capricorn?
I know.
What did they, like, that's
Right. What
literally
structure has
not
fallen?
logical. Yeah.
What government or social institution has fallen and completely changed?
Yeah.
None.
I don't know what
None.
they be smoking, but
There's definitely fake change, like
yeah.
there's a different kind of marionette, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's this business as usual. Where's the change? There's not really. Um, but yeah,
Hmm.
I totally agree. Like when Pluto actually begins, which I think is like when it actually enters the asterism, I think is like oh, oh no. Oops. I think is like 2042. Um,
Yeah, it was
not
around like 2040 that I
mistaken.
was kind of, because I was reading it as like there is that cuspy space where it's both, right? I feel like we don't talk
Yeah,
enough about the fact that Aquarius and Capricorn share. Like
yeah.
obviously this
Uh-huh.
it's
Right
the
here.
ecliptic goes through
Right
Capricorn
here.
still,
Yeah.
but it's,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
that's an Ophiuchus Scorpio situation in my opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what
Uh,
the hell is in the hands of of
oh
Aquarius
no,
there?
okay. Pluto. Okay, I was thinking something else. What was it? I have no idea. Okay, Pluto by 2039 is almost out of Cap.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's coming sooner. I thought it was like 2040. Say 2028. Okay, by 2028 it's already in. Say 2026. Or no, we're entering 2026. What am I thinking? Like, where are we?
What
Okay,
is
yeah, like, okay, so it's like the beginning of 2028.
that it's like really in there?
Yeah, and then
I
of
think
course
we're
we'll
just
have
like
like the
sniffing it.
retrogrades and stuff. Okay, so we're still getting pretty close.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, how did we get to 2032? Anyway, okay. Yeah, by 2028 we're like in there. Interesting.
Hmm.
So it's coming a little bit sooner than I thought. I don't know why I was thinking 2040. I think that's maybe when Neptune leaves Pisces then. I think it's 2042.
Mm.
Um, I don't know why I have that like
Can't you
in my
just
head.
imagine? Because I do feel that there is a massive awakening of more Western astrologers coming to True Sky,
Yes.
which I'm here for. Like, we're
Yeah.
here for you.
Yes,
We are
we
here
are.
to support you.
Yes.
Um, and I'm just like, man, that is going to be it's a reorientation for sure. It's a
Absolutely.
reorientation.
It
But
is.
that's what we're asking the collective to do. So we have to do it
Yes.
ourselves.
Exactly. Collectively, especially the spiritual people in the astrology community, it's time to get on the organic timeline mechanism.
Yeah.
Like enough with like the tropical algorithm and it's tied to the Gregorian calendar and the Catholic Church should tell you enough about the evil origins of it and
Yeah.
like where it got its power from and who it's giving its power to. Like enough of this Roman Catholic bullshit that is
Mm.
trying to siphon energy and run the world. Like is enough. Enough. But yeah, and Pluto's definitely helping us do that. And I'm sure once Pluto's entered Cap, that's also going to be an institution that is falling is the fake astrology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which rightfully so. Rightfully so.
And we'll just be getting those Uranus diamonds.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna be iced out. Diamonds on my neck,
Just
diamonds on my grill. That's
spinning
right.
sideways.
I'll also take some rubies and some emeralds and sapphires. Um, those are acceptable as well, but definitely the
We'll
diamonds.
allow it. Wow,
Uh,
this has been so incredible.
yes,
So
yeah,
special.
absolutely. Yeah, is there anything else that you want to say about January before we end the episode?
I think I'm complete. I think that's going to be a really powerful time. And I'm so grateful that we got to do this big, deep dive together.
Yes, me too. And I look forward to working together on some other things. Thank you so much for being the last guest of episode 2. And thank you everybody who joined us in the live, joined us in the chat, Thanks for everyone who's watching the replay and everyone who tuned in to season 2. Thank you so much. I love you so much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for helping, really embody the true sky organic consciousness. And um, yeah, I'm looking forward to whenever season 3 comes around or whatever new creations are coming into fruition. And, of course, keep looking up. And when you align with the true sky, you align with your true self. Sonia, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.